Ayan po. Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning. 32 na po tayo sa ating Zoom call. And welcome po sa day 6. Second to the last meeting po natin ito, no? Ng ating research writing course. So, kumusta po ang ating mga papers? Are we moving forward po? Are we expecting to be able to catch up sa ating deadline on December 6? Yan, malalaman po natin yan when we uh, go to our breakout mamaya. And this today po we're only now focused on the technicalities na po ng inyong papers. So Ma'am Mayan and Ma'am Rose Ann, they're going to give us po yung formatting and yung mga technicalities po sa ating processes and sa ating paper dito sa division office. So magandang umaga po, magandang umaga sa ating lahat. May I see reactions po from our participants. Ayan. So galaw-galaw po, baka ma-stroke, medyo malamig na. Hello po. Sino-sino mga nandito sa ating group chat? Ayan. Ma'am Mayan, you're already ayan, nag-heart na siya. Okay. And yan, andyan si Ma'am Rose Ann, si Ma'am Cherilyn. Pahay naman po. Okay. Ayan. So, yehey. Okay. Nag-clap si Ma'am Cherilyn. And all right. So sa mga participants, I want to know if you are ready. Please type 1 pagka kayo ay ready sa ating chat box. And type 2 kapag wait lang. Ayan, nagta-type na sila ng 1. Okay, very good. Okay, ayan, active ang ating mga participants. So medyo konti tayo ngayon, no? So ibig sabihin, you can ask whatever you want to ask when it comes to our topic, no? At sariling-sarili po natin ang ating mga speakers. Okay, so without further ado, let us start this morning's activity. And for that, would like to ask Ma'am Mayan Aglit from Pine City National High School to give us the birth and non-birth and the technicalities ng formatting po ng ating research po. Ma'am Mayan, take it away.
Good morning po.
Hello ma'am, good
Grabe,
morning.
nakakakaba. Ang dami pa rin nila kahit 30 plus lang. Sorry po. Okay
Good
po.
morning, ma'am.
Hi ma'am, good morning po. Okay po, so I will try my best para i-present po yung ating, sorry po. Yung technicalities po ng ating research writing, bali packaging na po tayo dito. Kung ano po yung general format, yung mga mechanics and styles po natin na gagawin for our research. Okay po, so let me present my screen. Okay, so if we have the luxury of time, nakikita na po, can now see your screen, sabi po. Thank you. Okay po. So, tapos na po tayo sa mga discussions on the parts of research. Very detailed and very explicit po yung pagkaka-explain ng ating mga speakers. So now, I am assuming that some of you are already halfway done with your proposal. So now we will be discussing yung ating format po for our, before we submit our proposal. So we will be discussing here the mechanics for birth and non-birth manuscripts. So for the general formatting, we have here the paper size, the margin, the font, and the font style, font size, and so on and so forth. So for our research proposal, we will be using A4 bond paper, and the margins would be 1 inch in all sides, and we will be using Arial 11. The contents of our paper will be flushed left. So yun po yung alignment natin, left aligned. And our spacing will be double space except for our abstract. That is for the final paper naman po. So for the abstract po, single space naman po siya. and then 2 single spaces before and after level 1 heading. So may mga headings po tayo. Meron po tayong tinatawag na level of heading sa ating APA format, and ito po yon. So yung tinutukoy ko po dito na level 1 heading, this one here, ay ito po, dito po sa part na ito. Okay po, so for the level 1 heading, we are using the general formatting for headings by APA format po. So ang gagawin natin for the level 1 heading is centered, bold, and title case heading. Then our text begins as a new paragraph in the next line. Diyan po siya, indented din po. Then our level 2 heading would be flash left, bold, and title case heading din po. And our next paragraph will start here. Ganyan po siya, indented din. Then next would be for the level 3 heading, flash left, bold, italic, then title case heading, and so on and so forth. Anyways, nasa Google po ito, so pwede po natin siyang i-search po doon. Or if not, you can print screen po yung ating presentation. Anyways, if we have time later on, we will be sorry po. We will be giving the demo on how to do this one in our Microsoft Word. Okay po. The next one would be, we will be including page header or running head as well as pagination in our paper. The running head and the pagination will be placed on the upper corner. So yung page header po sa left corner, and then the pagination will be on the right corner. Then on our research, we will be using the third person point of view. So we say the researcher or the researchers instead of using I or we. Then if you are making action research, we use the word participants. And for basic research, we use the word respondents. Then take note, my co-researchers, that we do not impress by using linguistic devices that may lead to confusion of readers. Remember that what we are doing in our study is to answer problems, gaps, or issues. Yun po. So this is our summary template for our research. So we have the basic research and the action research. Almost the same po yung mga parts niya, meron lang pong ibang magkakaiba. So we have there the proposal and the final paper for the basic research, as well as the proposal and final paper for our action research. So what we will be doing now is I will be presenting, iisa-isahin po natin yung mga parts, then hanggang makomplete po natin yung basic research parts natin from proposal to final paper, and then our action research from proposal to final paper din po. Okay? So unahin natin, kung mapapansin natin, may something very common sa kanilang apat, and that would be the title page. Ito po. Okay, for the title, it should be at most 12 words. Pwede pong maging 13 as long as the 13th word will complete the thought or the idea of your title. And make sure that your title should reflect the general emphasis of your research. It was also discussed during the quantitative, qualitative, and mixed method research po, no, kung paano po gumawa ng title ng ating research. And then, do not use acronym. Coined words, if any, are allowed, but this should be defined as contextualized in the study. And our format is title case, ibig sabihin po, uppercase po yung mga first letters ng mga words. And then centered, boldface. And we use inverted triangle if necessary. So example po is this one. So mapapansin po natin, this is our title. Yan po. Nakalagay po dyan maximum of 12 words. Then followed by spaces. And then, meron po tayong note dito, a basic research proposal. We change basic to action if we are doing action research, and we change proposal to final if magsasubmit na po tayo ng final paper. Submitted to the Department of Education, Cordillera Administrative Region for Basic Education Research Fund. Then we include the school year where when we conducted it. So as for our case, it would be 2020, 2021, 2022. Then submitted by your name. So for this example, we have Ma'am Reynalyn T. Padsoyan, and then your position and your school. Then after that, we have here the date submitted to the division office. So kung mapapansin po natin, another slide here, meron po tayo ditong birth and non-birth. Birth and non-birth. So yung difference lang po ng title page natin for birth and non-birth is this one. Mapapansin po natin ito. So for birth, ilalagay natin yan kasi funded yan by our birth. But for this one, tatanggalin po natin. Non-birth is your personal expenses po. As for this case, sa atin nga nabanggit nung unang day ng ating webinar, nasabi na itatry natin na ipasok sa birth yung ating proposals. So I hope na sa ating title page may nakalagay na sanang ganyan po. Okay. So yun po, balik tayo dito. Tapos na po natin yung ating title page. So this is true for both basic and action research po. Papalitan lang po yung mga words na nabanggit ko po kanina. Next would be our table of contents. Take note, my co-researchers, that the table of contents should follow the sequence based on the template. Ito po yung template natin, no? So yung table of contents natin, if we are doing the proposal for basic research, ito po dapat yung contents ng ating table of contents. This one for the research, for the action research. And then for the final paper, Ganyan po. Okay po. So, ganyan, mamaya kapag may time ulit tayo, ipapakita ko rin po kung paano gumawa ng automatic na table of contents sa ating Microsoft Word para po hindi na natin siya iniisa-isa. I hope na magkaroon pa tayo ng time mamaya. Okay. So, of course, yung table of contents, nasa nasa basic and action research yan, nasa both na proposal and final paper. Andun siya. Pero kung mapapansin natin, sa ating final paper ng basic and action research, meron nakasingit between title page and table of contents. That is our abstract and acknowledgement. Ilalagay po natin yan between title page and table of contents. Okay pa. Ang susunod po dyan, i-discuss naman natin ngayon yung parts ng basic research, proposal and final paper. So, I will not be discussing kung ano po yung na-present ng mga presenters. Ang gagawin ko lang po ay to give the summary or additional lang po, konting-konting additional lang po for the contents of our parts. So for the basic research, ang nakalagay po kasi doon, introduction and rationale. So what we will be putting in here are the description and context of the study, as well as the reason for conducting it. We should also present the problems, gaps, or issues being identified or observed in the actual classroom setting or workplace. We should also present literature gaps which will justify or validate the researchability of our topic. Then we will also narrate the general purpose or significance of the research paper as well as the potential contribution of our paper. So kung naaalala po natin yung patawid framework, ito po yun. Parang iaayos lang po ninyo yung presentation niya. Ganun po. So we go back to our summary template. So after we finish a part, babalik po tayo dito sa summary template para i-check po natin kung ano na po yung mga natapos natin. So in that case, meron po, natapos natin yung introduction and rationale of the proposal. But take note, in the final paper, meron din tayong dyan na introduction of the research. So these two are almost the same. I say almost the same kasi po, there might be some changes as you undergo the process of your research, as you conduct your, or as you implement your research. Kaya po sabi ko, it's almost the same. Pero it's possible naman na it's exactly the same. Ganun po. Next is the literature review. Na-discuss na rin ito ni Ma'am Malin. So what will be included in our literature review? These are the key issues which underlie the research, the major findings, problems identified, recommendations, and questions raised in previous research. We may also include the main points of view and controversies, critical evaluation of these views, and the strengths and weaknesses. One more thing is we could also add what research still needs to be done and what knowledge gaps remain that the study will aim to fulfill. But take note po, researchers, that our, excuse po muna. Sorry about that. Okay po. But take note, teachers, ulitin ko po, that we should not overstate our literature. Bakit po? Because we only have few pages allotted for our literature review. So, ilalagay lang po natin are the sufficient literature necessary to support your study. Ganun po. Okay po. So balik ulit tayo sa summary template. Tapos na natin yung literature review for the proposal. As I mentioned, it's still the same with the introduction. Meron din siya sa ating final paper. And it's almost the same as our literature review in the proposal. Next would be our research questions. So na-discuss na rin to ng mga speakers natin sa quanti, quali, and mixed method. But in here, we will have to state the general and specific objectives of the study. For quantitative research, we will state our problems in question form to facilitate yung pag-present natin ng results and discussion later on sa ating final paper. For the qualitative research naman, we will present the central question and then the specific questions. For mixed method research naman, ipapresent natin yung quanti and quali research problems depending on the type of your design. Ganun po. So we are done with the research questions. Of course, our research questions in the proposal should also be the same as our research questions in our final paper. Next to that is the scope and limitation. So what we will be including here is the coverage of the research in terms of location, time, respondents, and etc. This will also include the inherent design or methodology parameters that can restrict the scope of the research findings and are outside the control of the researcher. Sometimes dito rin nilalagay yung kunwari, yung target mo na participants ay hindi mo na sunod because of what reasons. Pwede mong ilagay dito sa scope and limitations. Okay po. So scope and limitations for proposal done, scope and limitations for final paper done. Ngayon sa research methodology naman tayo. So in research methodology nakalagay dito na please disregard the introduction such as this section describes the methods used in the study, blah blah blah. Hindi na po natin kailangang ilagay yon simply because it's obviously stated naman in our subheadings or our headings. So hindi na po natin kailangang ilagay daw po yan. Then under methodology is our research design. So of course na-discuss na rin to previously. Ito lang, nilagay ko lang dito yung mga possible na ilalagay natin. So simply state the general research method, if it's quanti, quali, or mixed, and then your general objective of the study as well as your specific research design. So naglagay lang po ako dyan ng mga samples based from the discussions of our speakers, previous speakers. So of course, nakalagay din dyan, etc. Hindi lang po yan ang ating mga designs. And take note here, use other appropriate designs as applicable to the research. Ganun po. So, pwede nating balikan kung may notes tayo dun sa discussion ng quanti, quali, at mix, pwede po nating balikan. Or if not, may mga videos naman po, ina-upload po ni Sir Alejandro yun. Yung recordings ng ating mga presentations. Then, we have, after the research design is the sampling. So, dito, you will be discussing or presenting who will participate in your research, such as the number of people, the characteristics of those who will participate, and how you will be selecting your participants or your respondents. So I believe yung sampling techniques ay na-discuss ni Ma'am Ma'am Jane Licod. So doon po kayo kukuha ng sampling scheme ninyo. Iaayos nyo lang din po siya for presentation in your manuscript. So it says here that we should state the actual acceptable sampling over total population in the locale of your study. Pwede rin pong gumamit daw ng total population, and that is for total enumeration. Parang total enumeration yung gagawin natin. Usually applicable kapag konti lang naman yung target natin. Yung target population natin. Pwedeng total enumeration yung gagawin. And then we should also include the sampling scheme in the in-table format. I-present po natin yan. Like say for example, nag-sampling po kayo, so isusulat niyo po doon yung total number of population and then yung sampling po na kinuha ninyo. And then it says here, include the sampling technique used, preferably scientific or the probability sampling. And for qualitative naman po, we select our participants accordingly. Kung narrative yan, ilang participants, kung grounded theory, phenomenology, ganun pa. Then next to our sampling is the data collection. So for this one, we will present how we are going to gather our data. So usually ang present dito ay instruments and procedures. So under procedures, we will narrate explicitly what we will do in our research. So remember pala mga co-researchers that in our methodology, under proposal, future tense po yung gagawin natin because these are plans. So future tenses po yung gagawin natin. So you just imagine ano kaya yung gagawin mo para makollect mo yung data. Starting from the crafting of your letter until you will be able to collect it. Kaya ina-narrate po natin under the procedures in data collection. For instrumentation naman, you will describe your instrument. You describe your tool, what are the levels of measurements involved in your tool, will you be using Likert scale, kung interview schedule, ano yung mga itatanong mo, what nature of questions will you be asking. And if you will be using Likert scale po, we indicate din po dito, ipipresent natin siya pwedeng in table form dito sa ating data collection. And then, including here also will be the validity and the reliability of your data gathering instrument or your tool. So, di ba nabanggit, I believe last Saturday, nabanggit ni Sir Leo, yung reliability and validity, lalo na ng mga kunwari mga questionnaires natin, survey questionnaires natin, kailangang mag-undergo ng validity and reliability yon. Now, for validity, we only need at least 3 experts to validate our tool. So, alam ito ng mga TWC, you can ask them the process on how to conduct validity testing, as well as for reliability naman. For reliability, we need at least 30 respondents to answer our questionnaire. And Finally, we should attach the data gathering tool. Dito naman nilalagay natin siya sa ating appendices. So I believe your proposal to be submitted on December 6 should also include your data gathering tool. Ganun pa. Because that's part of the proposal. Next to our data collection would be the plan for data analysis. So in here naman po, we will be discussing how we are going to analyze our data or yung mga ginather natin na data. So nung discussion ni Sir Leo, he was able to present how to analyze data gathered or quantitative data gathered for your research. And I believe pati sa mixed and sa qualitative research na i-present din siya. So, hindi masyadong mahirap ang paglalagay ng data or paglalagay ng contents for our plan for data analysis. But take note po, if you are doing quantitative research, ang nilagay po dito, if you are using inferential statistics, sabi doon, we should include in the plan for data analysis or the proposal paper, yung discussion po kung ano ang gagamiting tests. Kapag kailangan mong ilagay doon na if the data gathered will pass the normality test, ilalagay mo yung parametric test na gagamitin mo. If not naman, you should also write the non-parametric test, yung katumbas niya na non-parametric test. That was also discussed by Sir Leo last Saturday. Ngayon po, pag ginawa na natin yung final paper, ang ilalagay na lang natin dyan ay yung actual na treatment na ginamit natin. So, sa plan, ilalagay natin yung both parametric and non-parametric kasi hindi pa natin alam, wala pa nga tayong data. So, hindi pa natin alam kung normal or hindi. Ngayon, kapag na-conduct na natin, na-collect na natin yung data, pagdating natin sa final paper, dun na ilalagay natin kung ano yung talagang nagamit. Kung yung parametric ba or non-parametric. Ganun po. So, I also included it here, yung diniscuss ni Sir Leo last Saturday kasi yun yung medyo marami actually sa quantitative research. At least for qualitative research, usually yung ginagamit dyan is yung cool and warm analysis, yung thematic analysis, ganun po siya. But kaya andito po yung sa ating qualitative research design. For this one, ito po yung sa ating quanti. Or if not, kung kulang pa po yan and you think you need more, pwede po nating balikan yung diniscuss po ni Sir Leo. Meron pong video ulit. It was uploaded in our FB group page. Okay po. So, last part for the research methodology is our ethical issues. So, nabanggit din ito how many times ng ating mga speakers, our ethical issues is in here we should identify the ethical concerns that could possibly emanate from the conduct of the research and elaborately discuss how to prevent this from taking place. So this may include the right to conduct a study or investigate a question. This will also include secure, free, prior, and informed consent from respondent, and so on and so forth. So ang ilalagay natin dito, ano yung mga possible issues na nakikita ninyo na magiging sagabal sa pag-conduct ninyo ng research, and then how are you going to address this one? Yan po. So ang nakalagay dito, we may also include the briefing and debriefing mechanisms. Lalo na kung sa tingin natin ay makaka-affect yan sa psychological or mental state ng ating mga respondents or participants. Yun po. Then, balik tayo sa summary template. Tapos na po natin yung research methodology. So for the research methodology under proposal, again, I will repeat, gagamitin po natin future tense. Pagdating natin sa final paper, gagamitin na po natin past tense. And take note po, dito po ang usually maraming revisions. Kasi it might be na yung plan mo ay hindi pala angkop, so iba yung ginawa mo. So, ang ipipresent mo na dito would be your actual. Here is your plan. Ganun lang siya. Ganun lang po yung difference niya. The future and the past. Ganun po. Then we have here the timetable or your Gantt chart. So dito po ilalagay ninyo yung plano ninyong gawin or yes, plano ninyong gawin para ma-complete ninyo yung research ninyo. So, ang ilalagay po dito kung ilang days or weeks ka, ano yung mga steps mo, yung process mo for the researches, and then how many days ang gugugulin mo just so you could complete those processes. Nakalagay po yan sa timetable or Gantt chart natin. Next would be our cost estimates. So for this one, ilalagay naman natin yung mga possible expenses natin. So nakalagay dyan yung activity, the items, the units, the quantity, estimated cost at saka total. So dito po yung cost estimates, mapapansin po natin ay mailalagay lang po yan sa ating proposal. Ganyan po, yung timetable at saka cost estimates po natin, nakalagay lang po sa proposal natin. Mapa-basic man yan or action research, sa ating proposal lang po siya ilalagay. Okay po? So later on, yung cost estimates, meron siyang katumbas sa ating final paper. Pero makikita natin mamaya kung saan siya dapat ilalagay. Ang susunod po dyan will be our results in discussion. I believe na na-discuss na rin ito during the discussion on quali, quanti, and mixed method. So ito, ang nakalagay dito for quantitative study, we present the statement of the problems as subheadings. Yun po yung magiging subheadings po natin. For qualitative study naman po, we will use our themes. If there are themes, we will use them as our subheadings naman po. We will also follow the major contents of our results in discussion. That would be the discussion, corroboration, and implication. For the formatting of tables and figures, we will be referring to the APA format, 2010 from pages 127 to 167. Pwede po ata siyang ma-search sa Google for that case. Yun pa. So ito, tapos na natin ang results and discussion. After results and discussion would be our conclusion and recommendation. And ang results and discussion at saka conclusion and recommendation, nasa final paper lang po siya. So, on December 6, make sure na wala pong nakalagay na results and discussion at saka conclusion and recommendation sa inyong isasubmit na proposal because that is not included in the proposal. It's in the final paper. Next would be our plans for dissemination and advocacy plans. So dito, we will indicate how we are going to utilize the results of our research. Pwede ninyong ilagay doon na ipapresent ninyo during conferences, LAC sessions, inset, meron kayong publications, and so on and so forth. Or you might want to create innovations or intervention plans na pwede ninyong ilagay dyan sa ating plans for dissemination and advocacy. So for this one, nasa parehong proposal and final paper po yung dalawang yan. Okay po? Then lastly, or almost pala, I should say, we will also be including the references. Importante po yan para hindi po tayo matag na nagpa-plagiarize po tayo. Then our appendices. Diyan natin i-attach yung mga letters, questionnaires natin na nabanggit ko kanina dito sa ating data collection. Diba? Sabi ko doon, nakalagay doon na attach your data gathering tool. So dito po siya sa appendices ilalagay. And to complete our life, I mean the life of our proposal or our manuscript is the financial report. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, nakatumbas ng cost estimates. However, may note dito for birth only. So kung non-birth yung research mo, hindi mo na kailangan gumawa ng financial report. Pero since ipapasok natin sa birth yung mga researches natin, I mean, itatry natin ipapasok sa birth yung researches natin, in the future, baka gagawa tayo ng financial report. So mapapansin natin, andito yung parts din ng ating cost estimates, activity, item, unit, quantity, estimated cost, and then total. Nadagdag po yung actual at saka total din po niya. Kasi financial report nga po. Okay po? There. So, bale, kumpleto na ang buhay ng ating basic research. Ngayon naman, pupunta tayo sa action research. For the action research naman po, it's almost the same actually as our basic research. May mga ibang nadagdag lang. Okay, nadagdagan, hindi po siya nabawasan. So, I will not be presenting po in toto yung mga contents because like what I said, pare-pareho nga, halos pareho sila nung sa basic research. Mag-i-emphasize lang tayo doon sa part na wala sa basic research. Okay po? So una po yung sa context and rationale. So gaya ng ating introduction of the research, ipepresent din natin yung gaps, issues, yung significance of the study, and then the reason for conducting your research. Ganun pa rin po. Napalitan lang po yung heading niya. Okay? So, context and rationale in the proposal and final paper. Next would be our action research questions. So, yung heading nung basic research ay research questions. Dito naman sa action research, we have the complete heading that would be action research questions. So, yan po. So for quantitative research, ulitin ko po, we state our problems in question form. For quali, we should have our central and specific questions. Then for mixed methods, kaya nga po siya tinawag na mix, kaya dapat magre-reflect sa ating action research questions yung quanti at quali questions po, or research problems, which again will depend on the type. So yun po, action research questions. Ito po na part ang wala sa ating basic research, this one. The proposed innovation, intervention, and strategy. Or the innovation, of course, pagdating sa ating research final paper, wala na yung proposed. Okay po? So dito naman, you will introduce a new idea, device, or method used, introduction of something new, intervention, or strategy. Kasi 'di ba usually pag action research ng mga teachers sa mga strategies tayo, strategies, techniques. So i-discuss niyo po dito yung inyong gagamitin na strategy. Okay po? So in here naman po, if you will be using an innovation, you will describe Hello. Naririnig po? Sound check. Naririnig po?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Ay, okay. Sorry. Okay po. So in here naman, asan na ako? Nag-end. Okay po. So dito, ulitin ko po sa proposed innovation, intervention, and strategy, i-present lang po natin dito yung gagamitin, yung iti-test natin na strategy. Kung innovation naman po dyan, ilalagay po ninyo, i-describe nyo po kung anong innovation yun. And then, also important na ilalagay natin is kung paano natin gagamitin yung innovation na yon sa ating study or yung strategy, yung intervention, or yung innovation na yon. Whatever that is, kung paano, i-discuss natin kung paano natin siya gagamitin sa ating study. Ganun po. So pag-propose naman, again, ulitin ko po, pag-proposed or sa proposal, future tense, and then kapag sa final paper, past tense na po. Okay? So tapos na po. Yun yung nasa action research na wala sa ating basic research. The rest of the parts, halos pare-pareho lang din yan. So for action research methods naman po, research methodology, ang heading niya sa ating basic research. Pagdating po sa ating action research, it would be action research method. So it's the same, wag po natin gamitin yung introduction na this section describes the methods. Hindi na po kailangang ilagay yung kanyang introduction. And then we have also the research design. Of course, sa action research, pwedeng quanti, quali, and mixed method din yan. Okay po, so pili lang po kayo kung ano yung mas pinaka-appropriate na research design for your study. Ganyan po. After the research design, we have the sampling for basic research, but in our action research, it will be called as participants and or other sources of data and information. So it's the same. Ilalagay din po natin who will participate in the research, the number of people, the characteristics, mga ganun po. Then we will be including our sampling scheme kapag po gagamit tayo ng probability sampling. Then kung ilan ang ating kukunin. Ganun po. Kapag naman po quali, yung research natin, participants will be identified accordingly kung gagamit tayo ng non-probability sampling. May purposive, ganun po, snowball, ilagay po natin dyan. Then next would be the data gathering methods. Ganun pa rin, the same as our basic research. Ilalagay natin yung procedures na gagawin natin for us to be able to collect our data. And we will also place here our instruments, or not place, describe. For data gathering methods, i-describe mo lahat. But for the actual data gathering tool, nakalagay po siya sa appendices. Then our data analysis plan, it's still the same as our basic research po. So kapag quanti kayo na action research, ilagay ang test na gagamitin kung parametric or non-parametric siya. Tapos pagdating sa final paper, ilalagay na yung actual. Of course, matatanggal na yung isa sa kanila. Depende sa nature ng ating data, sa normality ng ating data. Then, of course, ito yung kanina, parang kanina lang din. Our data analysis plan. Pagdating sa final paper, wala na po yung plan ha. Pagdating po sa final paper, data analysis na lang po siya. Then for the ethical issues, it's the same as our basic research. Dito medyo tricky ang ating ethical issues for action research kasi 'di ba dito yung usually meron tayong control group sa quasi-experimental, 'di ba? Meron tayong control group, experimental group, ganong bagay. So kapag nagkataon, ano yung gagawin mo? Magiging ethical ba siya kung nag-experiment ka doon sa isang section ng isang strategy tapos sa other section iba yung ginawa mo? Magiging fair ba 'yon? Ba yun sa mga bata? Ganun po. Parang yun po yung i-consider ninyo sa ating ethical issues. Ipe-present niyo po doon. Ito usually yung nale-left out. Pero later on, nalaman natin na this is also one of the most important things pala in our research for its validity and reliability. Yun po. So tapos na po natin yung action research methods. Yan po. Ang susunod dyan ay ang ating action research work plan and timelines. So actually, this one is the same as our timetable or Gantt chart in our basic research. So ganun pa rin, siguro mas madadagdagan to kasi nga kailangan mong mag-test ng strategy. Medyo matagal yun yung testing. Hindi pwedeng ginawa mo lang ngayon, then okay na yung data mo. That's parang hindi siya ganun ka-valid or ganun ka-reliable if that's the case. So medyo mahaba ang action research actually. Then, we have here also the cost estimates. It's still the same. Pareho din yung ilalagay natin ng mga variables niya. The activity, the item, ito po. Activity, item, unit, quantity, estimated cost, and total. Usually, kapag birth research yan, medyo strict yata sila as per feedback from those who already conducted birth birth-funded researches, medyo ano daw sila, stricto sila sa mga items na nilalagay natin dyan. Anyways, may experience natin to pag nakapasok sa birth yung ating research, di ba exciting na makikita natin na ano ba yan, pati pala dito ang hirap. Ganun po. Kasi kailangan nating iayos in such a way na acceptable yung pagkagastosan natin ng pera na ibibigay ng region for the research. Ganun po. Okay. So, tapos na natin ang work plan and timeline. So, again, ang work plan at saka cost estimates, wala po siya sa final paper. Ang katumbas ng cost estimates lang ay financial report, pero sa birth lang po siya. Again, uulitin ko po, sa birth lang po. Next to that would be our discussion of results and reflection. So, it's almost the same as our basic research. So, ipipresent mo lang yung mga findings mo, yung results mo. For quantitative research, ang gagamitin nating subheading would be our SOPs. And for qualitative research naman, ang gagamitin natin ay yung themes for our subheadings. And we should follow this ones here. Yung discussion, corroboration, and implication. In the discussion, usually ang nilalagay dyan is ang haba-haba. Mas mahaba pa yung discussion sa corroboration. Bakit? Kasi nag-table reading siya. I believe in the presentation of discussion in our researches, wag pong masyadong mag-table reading. Konti lang pong table reading, okay na po yun. Hindi po yung, pag sinabi natin table reading, diniscuss mo yung contents ng buong table. Lalo na pag ang dami-dami ng table mo, ang dami-daming contents ng table mo, siya na parang yun na yung naging content ng iyong results in discussion kasi ang haba-haba. Kapag hindi naman kailangang emphasize, hindi na po kasi pwede naman nilang tingnan sa table mo. So avoid table reading. Then, again, for the tables and figures, gagamitin po natin as reference yung APA 2010, pages 127 to 167. I guess this will also be discussed on Saturday for the APA referencing. Yun pa. Then, there, we have the results in discussion. After results in discussion is our conclusion and recommendation. Then next to that, would be our plans for dissemination and utilization or our action plan. Saan magagamit ang inyong research? Kasi hindi pwedeng natapos mo yung research and yun na yun. Hindi po. Kailangang magamit para hindi po sayang. Ang ganda-ganda ng research mo, tapos hindi nagamit, edi sayang yung effort, sayang din yung nakuha mong information doon. Gamitin natin yung results ng research for the improvement. Yun po yung dahilan kung bakit tayo nagkakandak ng research. Yan po. Kung pwede ninyong ituloy yan for innovation, then ituloy nyo. Ganun po. Okay, tapos na natin yung plans for dissemination and utilization. Tapos na rin natin po yung action plan. So, include natin references afterwards. Kailangan nating ilagay lahat sa references, lahat ng mga sinite natin in our paper. So, una pa lang, sa proposal pa lang, kapag nagsasite ka doon, ay kapag nagsasite ka, nilalagay mo na rin dapat sa references. Ganun po. And then, of course, the appendices and there. Lastly, yung financial report for birth only. So, it's still the same as our financial report for basic research. Meron po tayong actual at saka total. Yan po. So, ayun, kompleto na ang ating basic and action research. So, anong oras na ba? 9:15. So, I think I still have time to demonstrate kung paano mag-format ng ating manuscript sa ating Microsoft Word. So, kung meron po kayong meron kayong nagawang research proposal, yung parang kinukumpleto nyo pa lang yung parts, yun na po yung gamitin ninyo. Pero kung wala pa po, then I will be sending sa ating chat yung ginawa ko kagabi na file Wait lang po. So, ang kailangan po natin ay, where is that? Demo. Ayan. So, ito po, ayan, na-send na po. Paki-download po yan and then try po nating i-format siya according sa ating na-discuss kanina. Kung na-download nyo na po or kung meron man kayo or baka meron na kayong proposal dyan, yun na rin po yung ayusin natin na parang ipe-present ko po and then you will follow after me. So, ang gagawin natin dito, i-format natin siya and then ituturo ko rin po kung paano gumawa ng automatic na table of contents. Tapos po, idadagdag ko na rin po siguro yung yung kunwari paano yung sa header part, yung mag-iiba yung format ng pagination. Kunwari dun sa isa, gumamit ka ng letters, tapos dun sa susunod sanang page, mag-start ka ng 1. So, paano natin yung gagawin? Kasi usually, ang nakita ko sa ibang mga researchers po, ibang file kapag po yung pagination niya ay letters, yung yung ganun, nasa ibang file siya. Tapos another file para naman sa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ganun po. Or ibang file para sa naka-landscape, ibang file na naman for the portrait, 'di ba? Parang pag ganun po yung natin, yung paper natin medyo magulo. Paano pag isa-submit mo, kunwari, di ba, merong pinagdadrop na yung research or soft copy ng research natin sa Google Drive ng planning. So, paano yun? E di, marami kang idadrop na file. So, ang gagawin po natin, titingnan po natin, as much as possible, I will try my best po to present kung paano po siya gawin. So, kung na-download nyo na po or kung ready na po kayo with your file, pwede pong, wait lang, ako pala yung hindi ready. Asan na yung demo? Ay, buksan ko lang po. So, yung gagamitin ko po is Microsoft 365. Yun po yung sa account natin sa ating DepEd account. So, pa-thumbs up naman po or pa-react kapag po meron na, prepared na po ang inyong file. Thumbs up, react, or mag-chat po sa chat box. Thank you, Ma'am Emily. Thank you, Ma'am Josie. How about the others po? Okay. Okay, DepEd SDO Baguio City. Thank you po, Ma'am Rose Ann. Ganun pa. Okay po, so ipipresent ko na po yung screen. And then, please follow after me po, no? Saan na yun ito? Okay po. So, ito na po ang ating kunwari ito na po yung manuscript natin. So yan, nilagay ko na po yung mga yung mga contents. Andiyan na rin po pala yung format ng ating cost estimates para po i-edit niyo na lang, copy-paste niyo na lang po sa inyong manuscripts. And then dagdagan niyo lang po, mag-add tables na lang po kayo. Or insert tables, mga ganun po. Diyan lang siya. At least na i-edit po siya, unlike doon sa PowerPoint na picture po. Okay po? So, ang unang gagawin natin dito, kung mapapansin natin, andyan yung title page. Andyan din po. By the way, ano pala, teachers ha, basic research. So, ifa-follow ko po yung contents po ng basic research. So, yung contents niya ay title page. Sa proposal po ito, table of contents, introduction and rationale, literature review, research questions, scope and limitations, research methodology, research design, sampling, data collection, plan for data analysis, ethical issues, timetable or our Gantt chart, then cost estimates. Then we have here the plans for dissemination and advocacy, references, appendices. Ay, sorry, wait lang po. Ganyan na lang pala. Okay po. Ganyan, para pwede nating balikan yung ating PowerPoint presentation. Ganun po. Yan ang ating contents na, no? So, yung gagawin natin is to check if our file is naka A4 siya. Kasi ang default usually kapag nagbukas tayo ng ating Microsoft Word ay nasa short 8.5 by 11. So yung gagawin natin, kung meron na kayong contents, Control A nyo po muna para ma-highlight lahat. Ganyan po, from top to bottom po, highlighted po yan. Then, punta po tayo sa layout. Then, yung size. So, naka-letter nga po. Ngayon, punta na po tayo. I-click lang natin yung A4. Usually, yung A4 nasa unang. Yun yung pinakauna. So, ganyan na po siya. Naka-A4 na po siya. Then, ang susunod doon, Control A pa rin po, is the margins. Ang sabi natin kanina, yung margins ay 1 inch in all sides. So, dito, yung normal po. So, meron tayong normal, narrow, moderate, wide, and so on and so forth. Ang pipiliin po natin dyan ay yung normal. Ganyan po. And then, ang susunod po dyan ay ang ating spacing. Ang spacing po natin ay dapat po double space. Double space natin. So, pag double space, that would be the 2.0. Yun po ang i-click natin. Nasa home. Sabihan niyo lang po ako kung masyadong mabilis. Okay po. So, kung masyadong mabilis, sabihan lang po. Balik ko lang po. So, yung para sa spacing, pupunta po tayo sa home. And then dito po sa may paragraph na part, nakalagay po doon yung ating spacing. So, i-click lang po natin yung 2.0 and then kung mapapansin natin pag click natin, meron ditong add space before paragraph and then remove space after paragraph. So, dapat po naka-remove po yan. Walang space before and after. So, i-click po natin yung remove space after paragraph para matanggal po yung space niya. Ngayon po, ito na po yung tinutukoy ko kanina na automatic na table of contents. So, yung gagawin natin, dito kasi nga sa ating PowerPoint presentation, kung mapapansin ninyo, nasabi ko kanina na yung title page, table of contents, introduction and rationale, literature review, research questions, scope and limitations, lahat po yung naka-align dito sa part na yan ay ang ating level 1 headings. So, ifa-follow po natin, kailangan natin kasi yung headings, kailangan ma-identify mo kung alin ang nasa level heading 1, alin ang nasa level heading 2, para po pag gumawa tayo ng automatic na anong tawag doon? Automatic na table of contents, ay hindi na po tayo mahihirapan. Hindi po magiging magulo yung ating, what do you call this one? Table of contents. Okay, na-memorize ko yon. I will just guide you. Na-memorize ko po kung alin yung nasa heading 1. Madali lang naman po. Okay, so yung nasa heading 1 natin would be first the title page. So yung gawin natin, i-highlight po natin yan. Highlight lang po. Kung may mouse kayo, highlight niyo po. Ganyan. Naka-highlight siya. Then, baba po tayo. Scroll down po, hanapin natin yung table of contents. Andun po siya. So before you click anything on the screen, you press Control key first. Bakit? Para kapag highlight mo yan, naka-highlight pa rin yung title page. Ano ang mangyayari kung example, na-highlight ko yung title page, hindi ko pinindot yung Control key, tapos pinindot ko yung Research pa more. Ang mangyayari, hindi na maha-highlight yung title page. Ganun po. Of course, alam na natin to, pero baka may mga iba po na hindi pa alam. Kaya ganun po. So again, highlight natin yung title page, hanapin yung table of contents, i-press yung control, i-highlight yung table of contents. Then susunod dyan na level heading 1, introduction and rationale. Ganun pa rin, dapat nakapindot yung ating control key. Tapos ang susunod doon, literature review. Ganyan din. Scroll down. Pag mag-scroll down pala tayo, i-release muna natin yung control key. Kasi ang mangyayari kapag nag-scroll ka na nakapindot yung control key, mag-zoom in, zoom out siya, magaganyan siya. So, kailangan po, kapag mag-scroll down tayo, i-release muna natin yung control key. Then, scroll down. may research questions. Ang research questions ay level heading 1. So, pindot yung control key, highlight yung research questions. Release the control key, scroll down ulit, scope and limitations naman tayo. Pindutin yung control key, scope and limitations. Scroll down ulit, pindutin yung research methodology. Ganyan. Take note na yung research methodology ang ating level heading 1. Under research methodology is our research design. Heading level 2 yan. So, hindi natin i-highlight. Pati sampling, hindi rin. Pati data collection, hindi rin. Plan for data analysis, no. Ethical issues, no. So, nilampasan lang natin, then continue highlighting yung timetable Gantt chart. Yung control key, huwag kakalimutan. Then, yung control key for the cost estimates naman. Ganun po. Then, scroll down ulit, your plans for dissemination and advocacy. Control key, then highlight. Then, references, control key, highlight. Appendices, control key, highlight. Paulit-ulit po para hindi natin makalimutan. So, kung mag-scroll up tayo, yan po, naka-highlight yung mga yan. Lahat ng nasa ating heading 1. So, yung gagawin natin dito, teachers, ito yung gamit. Baka nakikita ninyo yung styles dito sa taas. Nasa home tab tayo. Ito, yung styles. Yan yung gamit niya actually. So, heading 1 yan, ilalagay natin heading 1. I-click lang natin yon. And do not worry, mapapalitan yung kanyang format. Yung font style, font size, pero hayaan nyo na muna. Hindi naman, ganyan lang muna siya, hayaan lang muna natin. Ang importante na kailangan natin gawin, kung naaalala ninyo, ang ating heading, level heading, saglit, balikan natin yung ating first slide. Ito. So, ang nakalagay dito, kasi heading 1 natin siya, dapat naka-centered at saka bold, tapos title case heading. Pag title case heading, ibig sabihin, naka-capital letter po yung mga first letters ng mga words. So, ganun po. So, yung babalik tayo dito, naka-highlight pa rin yan po, no? Pag hindi ninyo clinic, right after clicking yung heading 1, naka-highlight pa rin yan. So, yung gagawin natin, i-center lang po natin siya. Center, then gawin natin siyang bold. Pwede din nating i-black na yung kanyang font color. Kasi magiging blue yan usually. Blue. Wala pa naman akong na-encounter na ibang color. Pero usually is blue siya. Ganyan. So, hayaan nyo muna yung font size. Mamaya aayusin natin yan. Ngayon, balikan natin yung level heading 2. Kapag level heading 1 lang, okay, ibig sabihin tapos na tayo dyan. Sana. Kaso, meron tayong heading level 2. So, aakyat tayo ulit. Hanapin natin yung items under research methodology. That would be our research design highlight. Then, control key. I-press natin yung control key. Highlight yung sampling. I-press natin, scroll down tayo. I-press natin yung control key ulit. Then, data collection. Scroll down ulit. Control key. Plan for data analysis. Scroll down. Control key. Ethical issues. And that's the last for heading 2. Yun lang naman, ang may heading 2 lang naman ay ang ating research methodology. So, balik ulit tayo dito sa styles. Kanina, pinindot natin heading 1. Ngayon, ang pipindutin natin, heading 2. Yan. Ganyan. So, nung pinindot natin, ganun pa rin, nabago ulit yung kanyang format. So, hayaan lang natin. It doesn't matter. Maaayos natin yan mamaya. So, balik tayo sa ating PowerPoint. Ang sabi doon, kapag level heading number 2, dapat naka-flash left, bold, at saka title case heading. So, balikan natin yung ating paper. Yan. So, naka-flash left, andito siya, left aligned. So, okay na yon. Bold, hindi siya naka-bold. So, ibo-bold natin siya. Ganyan siya. Naka-title case heading. Naka-title case ba siya? Yes. So, ganyan na. Tapos na natin siya. Pwede nating palitan yung kulay. Ganyan. Hindi na natin siya i-center. Kasi ang sabi sa level heading, flush left. Ganun. Ganyan yan. Okay. Ngayon, ang susunod nating aayusin, yung kanyang font. So, ganyan muna yon. Later on, makikita natin kung paano natin ma-generate yung ating table of contents na automatic. So, i-control A muna natin ulit, teachers. Then, punta po tayo dito sa font. Ang sabi natin kanina, dapat Arial. And ang sabi natin, yung size, dapat 11. Tapos, balik tayo sa spacing, 2.0. Then, kung meron siyang nakalagay dito na remove space before or remove space after, i-click din natin siya. So, kung mapapansin natin, yung title page, bumalik na siya sa size 11 na Arial. Kanina ang laki niyan, size 16, di ba? And it follows sa lahat na ng ating, what do you call this one? Sa lahat na ng ating content. Naka-follow na siya. Ngayon, ang susunod natin gagawin, dito muna tayo sa title page. Of course, iisa-isahin natin yan. So, dito sa title page, ang nakalagay doon is hindi siya dapat naka-double spacing. Ginawa natin, dinouble space natin lahat. So, pwede namang palitan ulit natin yan, i-single space natin. Highlight lang natin yung page na to. Lahat ng contents ng page na yan, hanggang December 6, 2021. Then, i-click ulit natin yung spacing, i-click natin 1.15. Yan, nabawasan na yung kanilang space. Then after that, i-enter lang po natin. Enter lang po natin yan, ganyan, para, maiayos lang natin siya. And by the way, dito, di ba sa research title natin, sabi natin, dapat, dapat inverted triangle. So dito pwede natin tong i-enter. Yan, para ganyan siya. Inverted triangle kapag medyo mahaba. So okay lang yan. Yung title page, hayaan nyo po muna dyan. Ganyan. Enter pa natin para i-cover niya yung buong paper. So, mapapansin natin, nag-enter na rin to. So, ganyan natin. Ganyan po. So, tapos na natin yung title page. Ngayon, dito na tayo sa table of contents. Ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina. Pero bago natin ilagay yung table of contents, follow after me. Yung cursor natin nandito siya sa line after ng table of contents, yung space between table of contents at saka introduction and rationale. Andyan siya, i-press lang natin yung control key at saka enter. Pag ginawa natin yon, yung ating next contents ay nasa next page na. Ang naiwan na lang dito sa second page natin ay yung table of contents. So yung gagawin natin dyan, ilalagay po natin, make sure na yung cursor mo nandito sa baba ng table of contents. Ito yung nagbi-blink-blink. Yan yung cursor natin. Ngayon, ang gagawin natin, i-click natin yung references. Click natin yung references. Then meron po dito table of contents. So i-click natin yung arrow down. May lalabas na ganyan. So pwede kayong pumili kahit saan dyan. Pero usually, ang pipili natin yung may heading 1, heading 2 kasi yung ginamit natin. So, yung gagawin ko, dito tayo sa custom table of contents. Yan. And then, i-click ko, yung gusto ko is this one. Ito siya. So, may nakalagay dito, show levels. Hanggang heading level 3 kapag hanggang heading level 3 kayo. Pag heading level 4 naman, dagdagan natin yan. Ifo 4 natin, ganun siya. Pero since hanggang 2 lang tayo, hayaan na natin yung 3 na ganyan. Pero if in case na meron pa kayong other level headings, kailangan ninyong ilagay ito. Kasi kung hindi natin i-click yung show levels na ito, kapag hanggang 2 lang siya, hindi mag-a-appear yung number 3 and number 4 and so forth ninyo. Okay? Then we click OK. So, taran! Andyan na siya. O di ba hindi pa kayo nagtutuldok-tuldok diyan tapos hahanapin anong page na ngayon, hindi na. Andyan na siya. Tapos paano natin 'to ina-navigate? Ngayon, pupunta tayo sa title page. Di ba may makikita kayo dito pag tinapat ninyo yung cursor sa ating title page, di ba may nakalagay doon na current document, control plus click to follow link. Ibig sabihin, i-press mo yung control key, tapos pag lumabas yung parang daliri, ito, yan. I-click mo lang yan. Dadalhin ka na sa title page. Ganun. Or kung gusto mo na, tapos mag-scroll ka na naman, babalik ka na naman sa table of contents. Kaya usually, ang ginagamit ko dyan ay yung ating navigation. So, nasa home tayo, kunwari. Dito sa ating tabs, meron po ditong view. I-click nyo po yung view, then click nyo po navigation pane. Nakalagay na po dyan yung mga contents natin. So kung pupunta ka, mag-work ka sa research design, i-click mo lang yan, dadalhin ka na sa research design. Diyan ka na magtatrabaho. Ay, by the way, yung nilagay kong contents pala dito po ay yung nasa discussion natin kanina, yung guides natin kanina. So it's okay, pwede ninyong i-save ito, pwede ninyong balikan din. Now, balik tayo sa table of contents. Taran, ganyan na po siya. May table of contents na po tayo. Ngayon, dito naman po tayo sa introduction and rationale. Kung maaalala ninyo kanina, yung sa table formatting natin, dapat after ng level heading 1, yung level 1 heading natin, dapat may 2 single spaces. So, paano ba, ano ba ang itsura ng single space at saka double space? Pag single space, i-click ko lang ito. Pag pinalitan ko yan ng single space na 1, ganyan po siya magkakadikit. Pag double space, ganyan siya may spaces. Ngayon, anong gagawin natin para magkaroon ng 1 or 2 double space, ay 2 single space, I should say, dito sa baba ng ating introduction and rationale. Ito yung sinasabi kanina, dito sa part na to. So yung usually na ginagawa ko dyan, pupunta ako dito sa ating first part or sa first word ng ating, dun sa may indention na part, i-enter ko po yan. So, ang nakalagay na dyan, 3 single spaces po yan actually. 3 single spaces yan. Kasi double space yung introduction and rationale, double space din yung ating in-enter na line na yon. So, yung gagawin lang natin dyan is to click on spacing again, gagawin lang natin siyang 1. So, yan na ang itsura ng 2 single space. Okay po? So, baba ulit tayo, dito na naman sa literature review. So, dito, sabi kasi before and after. Dito wala siyang before, kasi siya yung first. So, walang problema dyan. Dito sa literature review, before and after, sabi niya. So, before is in this part, dito sa part na ito. Then, after is this part. So, yung after, ganun pa rin. Enter lang natin yung sa indention, then balikan natin yung part na yon. And we change the spacing to single space. Ganyan siya. Paano yung sa taas niya? Dito ka naman. Sa last part ng ating, sa last word, i-enter mo lang din yan. Then we change the spacing to 1. So, two single spaces before and 2 single spaces after. Ganyan po. Ginagawa po natin to kasi sometimes pinapabalik or most of the time kapag po hindi masyadong naayos yung format, pinapabalik po yan. Of course, we have to respect naman din po yung format na sinet ng ating organization. Kaya po natin to pinag-aaralan. Ganun po. Maybe yung nasa isip natin, format lang ko, ipasublida pa lang. Of course, they have the right kasi nga, yun nga ang sinet ng ating organization. Ganun po. Pero of course, importante pa rin yung content, syempre. Ngayon, punta tayo sa another level 1 heading, yung literature review. So, dito tayo sa literature review. Clinic ko lang siya sa ating navigation pane. Dinala na tayo dito. Ay, wait. Tapos na pala natin yung literature review. Sorry. Research questions pala. So, sa research questions, ganun pa rin. Dun sa end ng paragraph sa taas, you click enter, then change the spacing to 1.0. So dito sa after naman niya, you click enter, then we change the spacing to 1.0. Ganyan po. Dito sa scope and limitations, hindi na kailangan ng before kasi meron na siya, wala nang, bali siya na yung nauna sa page na to, kaya hindi na kailangan. Pero kailangan natin siya ng after. So enter ulit, balik sa space, then palitan ang ating, ano na yung tawag ton? Spacing. So dito sa research methodology, the same pa rin. After ng ating paragraph, you press enter, then we change the spacing. Ganyan. Tapos dito ulit, press enter, then we change the spacing. Pare-pareho lang din po yan. Dito sa ating level heading 2, ganyan na po siya as is. Ganyan. So, bali ang inaanuhan lang po natin ay yung ating level heading 1. So, dito ulit, enter, change the spacing. Tapos, enter, balik, change the spacing. So, dito ulit, enter, change yung spacing niya. Tapos, dito, we change also the spacing. Cost estimates, lastly, or hindi pala last 3. So, dito ulit. Ay, by the way, kasama po pala ng cost estimates yung ito, prepared by. Kasama po yan. So, kapag ikokopya po ninyo itong format ng ating cost estimates sa inyong proposal, pati po yung prepared by pakikopya, pero palitan nyo po yung pangalan ko. Okay po? So, enter ulit, change spacing. Dito, enter ulit, change spacing pa ulit-ulit para hindi natin makalimutan. Enter, then change spacing. Dito ulit, enter, then change spacing. Ganun. Ganun lang po siya. So, tapos na natin yung spacing niya. Kung mapapansin natin mo, malapit ng maayos. Ganyan po. Ang isusunod po natin dyan ay yung heading. Ito yung kanina na sinabi natin na yung running header nasa left corner and upper left corner, and then yung page number ay nasa upper right corner. So ito po. Usually, ang ginagawa ko, click ko. Ay, by the way, dito pala. So, di ba, nag-move yun. Nag-move yung ating paper, yung mga papers kasi, ay yung mga parts kasi nag-alagay tayo ng spacing. Baka may mga ibang nag-move. Ang gagawin lang natin dito, hindi siya automatic na as they move ngayon na update, hindi siya real time, pero ganito lang yung gagawin natin. So, right-click nyo, then meron ditong nakalagay update field. Pag in-update mo yan, pwedeng entire table or pwedeng page numbers only. Pag page numbers only, ang mapapalitan dyan ay yung paging. Nakita ko nyo kanina yung sa scope and limitations, nasa page 3 siya. Pero nung inayos natin yung spacing, nag-page 4 siya. So, Control Z ko, mapapansin ninyo 3 yon. Pero nung in-update field natin, naging 4. Yun. 4 ay pati pala yung plan for data analysis, 4 siya naging 5. So dito makikita ninyo, kaysa naman yung isa-isahin ninyo na i-check sa baba kung anong page na siya, and so on and so forth, ganito na lang yung gawin ninyo, yung automatic na lang. Ganon. So balik na tayo sa header, yung sinasabi ko kanina. So dito sa header, wala pa siyang nakalagay na header and pagination, pero of course sa ating table of contents, automatic na yan, meron na yan, binilang na niya. Ngayon, punta tayo dito sa ating header ng page 1. Double-click nyo lang yung dito sa taas ng title page, ma-open yung ating header. Ganyan siya. So kung makikita natin, nadagdagan ng header and footer sa ating tab sa taas. So yung gagawin natin dito, mag-i-insert page number tayo. Dito, kung naaalala ninyo yung PowerPoint natin, balikan natin. Yung sa table of contents ito. Sa table of contents natin, yung title page ay page I. Table of contents yung dalawang I. Sorry. Tapos yung page 1, mag-start lang siya sa context and rationale. Ngayon, ano ang gagawin natin? Anong trick or magic ang gagawin natin sa Microsoft Word para magkasama pa rin ito sa isang file pero magkaiba yung kanyang pagination? So, ganun lang. Balik tayo sa ating Word. So ngayon, ang gagawin natin dito, mag-insert tayo ng page number. So sa page number, pwede tayong maglagay ng, sa top tayo eh. Tapos ilagay natin ito. Kasi upper right kapag page number. So may nakalagay na doon na 1. So yung gagawin natin dyan, papalitan natin yung format niya. Format pages, tapos dito papalitan natin ng I ka na. Then we will start of course at the first one. So pag i-click natin yung okay, yun, napalitan na siya. Yun. Nakikita nyo itong part na to ay siya. Ngayon, paano yung running header natin? So ita-type lang natin dito. Kunwari ang aking running header ay research pa more. Ganyan. So kung mapapansin niyo magkadikit sila. I-press lang natin yung tab. Ganyan, naghiwalay na sila. So nasa upper left, nalilito ako sa left at right, sorry. Nasa upper left na yung research pa more, yung ating running header. Nasa upper right na yung ating page number. So papalitan din natin yan, gawin nating Arial of course. Yan. Yon. So kung bababa tayo, mapapansin natin, yan, research pa more. Ito yung running header na natin. Yun na rin yung ating page number. Ngayon, ang problema natin, sa page 3 na Introduction and Rationale, ang kanyang page number ay I. So ano ang gagawin natin dito para pwede nating palitan? Kasi kapag i-double click natin to at papalitan natin to ng 1, pag akyat natin, napalitan din yun. Napalitan siya sa lahat ng pages. So, anong gagawin na natin dyan? Balik ko lang yun, no? Yan. Ang gagawin natin dito, gagamit tayo ng break page. So, yung gagawin ko, pupunta ka doon sa page na end nung format na nauna. So, ito, mag-i-end yung format na I sa ating table of contents. So ako pupunta ako sa dulo ng table of contents. Ilalagay ko doon yung cursor ko. Tapos, pupunta ako sa layout. Click ko yon. Then sa baba ng layout may nakalagay dyan, breaks. So i-click na lang natin yung breaks. Then may lalabas na options. Ang pipiliin natin, section breaks, which is next page. I-click lang natin yan. So mapapansin natin yung cursor natin na nandito kanina, bumaba na siya dyan. Kaso walang contents naman yan. So press lang natin yung delete para umakyat yung Introduction and Rationale. So kung mapapansin natin, napalitan na ang kanyang page. Naging I na siya. Pero bakit I pa rin? So ito na ipapalitan natin. I-double click ulit natin yan para buksan yung tab ng header and footer. Ngayon, ito na yung trick. Kasi kung papalitan natin yan, mapapalitan pa rin yun kasi nakalink siya. Ngayon, kung mapapansin ninyo itong under navigation, may naka-highlight na link to previous. I-unclick natin yan para hindi na siya malink sa nasa taas. Para kung nag-change ka dito, sa page na to or sa page na ito, hindi mo na mapapalitan yung nandito sa taas. Okay po? So dito, pwede na nating palitan yung format. So page number ulit tayo, format, pwede na natin siyang palitan ng 1, 2, 3 and start at 1, okay. So pag akyat natin sa taas, taran, hindi siya napalitan. Pero pag i-check natin hanggang sa baba, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hanggang sa baba, andun na yung kanyang pagination. Nakaayos na rin siyang ganyan. So kung mag-i-input ka ng contents pa more dyan sa ating parts, maayos yan. I mean, itutuloy niya pa rin yung pagination natin. Ngayon, balik tayo sa table of contents. Kung mapapansin natin sa table of contents, hindi siya napalitan. So the same as a while back, right-click lang natin siya, update field, and then update page numbers only. Taran! Na-update na ulit siya. Napalitan na to. Ano naman yung update the entire table. Ngayon, gagawin nyo yan kapag meron kayong dinagdag na other headings. Kunwari, pagkatapos nating ilagay lahat ng heading 1, heading 2, na-realize natin na hindi pala natin na-highlight kunwari yung ethical issues. Pagdating sa ethical issues, ilalagay mo ulit siya, i-highlight mo, gagawin mong heading 2, paano mo siya gagawin or paano siya mag-a-appear dito sa ating table of contents. Yun na yung update entire table para makuha niya ulit yung mga kakadagdag mo lang na headings. Ayun. I think, meron pa ba? Parang naayos na yung format natin. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Ito, of course, hindi dapat yan nag-a-appear sa ating title page na nakalagay na title page. So yung gawin mo lang dyan para hindi siya nag-a-appear, hindi mo rin siya pwedeng tanggalin. Kasi kung tatanggalin mo siya, mawawala siya dito pag in-update mo. Mawawala siya sa table of contents pag in-update mo. So yung ginagawa ko lang dyan, ginagawa ko lang siyang white. O diba, parang wala. It does not exist. Yan, ganon. Ganon na po siya. Yan po. Ngayon, yung sinabi ko naman kanina na paano yung sa, portrait at saka landscape. Yun yung gagawin natin. Kunwari no example, ang gusto mong i-landscape kasi masyadong mahaba. Kunwari yung cost estimates. So yung gagawin mo lang dyan, ganun pa rin. I-click mo ito, yung part na ito, yung between nila. Pumunta ka sa layout, breaks ulit, next page. Ganyan. So dito mapapansin mo nag-start back to 1 siya. So yung gagawin mo, sa page number ka lang, pwede mong i-continue from previous. Ganyan lang siya. Pero i-unlink natin. Do not link or unlink to previous na tayo. Para hindi na naman siya nakalink doon, pwede nating palitan yung kanyang port, yung kanyang, anong tawag doon? Orientation, sorry. Kanyang orientation. So dito, pwede din yan actually sa footer, dito sa footer, para kunwari mailalagay ka naman sa footer niya, no? Pwede mo siyang i-unlink mo siya to previous para pwede mong lagyan ito, kunwari lagyan natin dyan, lalagyan natin yan, hindi malalagyan yung footer nung nasa taas. Ganun po. Pero of course, tatanggalin natin yan kasi wala naman talagang nilalagay sa footer. Ganyan. Then, dyan po, i-click na natin itong part na to, naka-unlink na kasi siya to previous. So, pwede na nating palitan yung layout niya, orientation, landscape. Tadan! Yan. So, naka-portrait yung nasa taas, naka-landscape naman yung nasa baba. Ngayon, yung plans for dissemination and advocacy, kailangan mo na namang i-portrait. So, you follow the same procedure. Mga link-unlink ka lang po dyan. Break page, and so on and so forth. Ganun. Tapos ito, iaayos mo lang siya na auto fit to window. Close ko muna yung navigation pane ko. So, para makita natin. I-zoom out ko rin. There. So, kung mapapansin natin, naka-portrait yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, first 5 pages, and then naka-landscape naman yung last 2 pages. So, pwede mo ring i-portrait itong last part, yung plans for dissemination and advocacy. Kasi dapat portrait naman talaga yan. Yung cost estimates, pwede siguro natin i-landscape kapag medyo kulang ng space. Ganun po. Meron pa ba? I think that's all for my presentation. I hope may natutunan po kayo sa present ko po. Sir Ali?
Ayan, so thank you very much, Ma'am Mian. We'll now proceed sa Q&A. Baka meron tayong mga katanungan. Naririnig po ba ako? Naririnig? I hope so.
Yes, sir.
Ay, okay. Ayan. So sa Q&A po natin, no, baka may katanungan kayo about sa formatting, yung mga pinakita sa atin ni Ma'am Mayan. Although, we'll be posting po yung videos ng ating session for today sa YouTube and i-share po namin siya sa Facebook. So, you can always go back. Pero syempre, may mga questions, baka may mga questions tayo, no? Ayun, well said Ma'am Mian, baka pwede daw pa share nung format. Ma'am Mian, na-share mo na yung demo, no? So pwede nang, I mean yung mismong demo file, pwede na natin siyang i-share din sa kanila or i-drop natin siya sa folder natin after the meeting.
Oo na lang sir kasi bali yung na-send ko kanina is yung hindi pa na format. So
Ay, okay.
i-ano mo na lang, i-upload na lang siguro natin sir.
Sige ma'am. Kahit yung blank lang, no? Although nag-send ako sa kanila noon ng ano, puro lorem ipsum yung nakalagay. Pero mas maganda kasi yung nakita nila na ginamit mo, ma'am. Alright. So may mga ano po ba? May mga katanungan po tayo sa formatting ganyan ng birth, non-birth. Okay, Ma'am Mian, sa running header po ba ay ay hindi all caps, ma'am? Running header daw po. Ma'am Mian, are you still there po? Ay, teka, parang nag-break si Ma'am Mian. Okay. Ma'am Mian, are you there pa po? Woohoo! Okay, wait lang po ah. I-open ko yung document na binigay sa atin ni Ma'am Mian. Okay, baka kanina pa siya nagsasalita kaya ano, nag-CR muna. Okay, we'll declare a break po muna before we go to the Q&A, no? Before we continue the Q&A. And kanina may nagtataas, so nagtataas ng kamay. So iyan natin. I-accommodate natin siya later. And continue to put your questions there sa chat box natin. We'll declare a 5-minute break. We'll be back ay 8 minutes pala. We'll be back at 10:05. 10:05. Yan po, break po muna tayo para po magkaroon tayo ng konting pahinga. All right. And later on, we'll be back with your questions. And after po noon, ay yung processes na po dito sa division to be given to us by Ma'am Rose Ann Santos po ng Planning and Research. Let's have a break po muna. Ayan, so we're back and it's now 10:05. So let's continue on with our Q&A. Um, okay, so Ma'am Mayan, are you here na po?
Yes po sir, sorry. Alam niyo
Okay.
naman. Sorry,
Okay,
sorry.
so andiyan na si Ma'am Mayan. All right, Ma'am, may question dito. What about the running header po ba? Is it all caps, Ma'am?
Ay, yung sa running header po actually sa ating manual walang nakalagay but looking at the submitted papers before po, all caps po siya. Kaya all caps na lang din po yung ilagay natin. About, iaayos ko po siya dito sa demo. I think yung pagka-type ko ano dun eh. Opo, iayos ko na lang po doon. All caps po.
All right. So all caps daw po, Ma'am. So yun po ang magiging standard natin. And then kanina may nagtataas ng kamay. Is it Ma'am Marciana ba yun? Ah, sino po yung nagre-raise ng hand kanina? I was not able to recognize po. Sorry.
Okay na sir, okay na sir.
Ay, okay na.
Na-chat
Okay.
ko na. Oo.
Okay po.
Na
Okay. More questions pa po from our participants? Yan. So ngayon niyo na po tanungin. Later on, baka hindi na po tayo halos magkaroon ng breakout. Mag-standby na lang kami for your questions, no? Kasi it's more on formatting lang naman. I mean formatting na naman. So yung mga papers ninyo, you will do na po yung actual. I think may mga iba na din dito na gumawa na while Ma'am Mian was talking. So inayos na nila yung papers nila. And maganda sana na makita natin, no, if they are really able to follow yung ating mga mga ang tawag dito, mga guidelines dito sa ating research writing uh, proposal. I mean, sa research proposal writing, baliktad. Okay, more questions pa po before we proceed to the processes po, yung process flow natin. Para ma-orient po kayo no kung ano yung nangyayari dito sa division office, kung ano nang susunod sa papel ninyo once that you submitted it, what happens to it na. Okay. So sa formatting, wala na tayong mga masyadong questions. Okay. If there is no more question, please please react ng thumbs up kung kayo ay okay na po sa lahat. Pa-thumbs up na po kung okay na po tayo, then we can move to the next. Okay? Walang nagta-thumbs up. Okay, 5 people, 6. All right. So wala nang nagtatanong. Okay, so now Ma'am Rose Ann, are you ready for this morning session na? Wait lang po I'll be assisting lang. Assist ko lang po si Ma'am Rose Ann saglit.
Ayan po, naririnig pa po ba ako?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Ano kasi, nagkaroon kami ng konting kakulangan sa headset. Kaya pinahiram ko kay Ma'am Rose Ann. Alright, so hintayin lang natin si Ma'am Rose Ann to be ready, and that would be the time na okay na siya. Mag-speak na siya sa atin for the processes. Yan, sigurado po kayo wala kayong katanungan sa format ha, baka mamaya po ang dami pala nating tanong.
Ibang question, sir. Okay lang ba?
Ibang question? Sige nga po, while we are waiting.
Doon sa pre-registration, sir, hindi po ako nakapag-register. Pero naka-attend po ako from day 1 to until now.
Opo, okay lang po. Ang gagawin natin, yung attendance po ang magiging basis namin for accepting researches. So,
Okay po,
no
salamat.
problem po tayo dun sa apo. Yung
Thank you.
pre-registration po ay ginamit namin to at least have a projection kung ilan ang ating magiging participants.
Thank you, sir.
Okay po. Wait
Sa
lang po,
attendance pala, sir.
Ay, attendance. Okay, I'll be sharing po while Ma'am Rose Ann is going to speak. I-assist ko lang siya saglit po.
Ali, wala akong marinig.
Okay, what about this po? Naririnig na?
Yes, sir.
Okay na po. Alright, so okay na, Ma'am Rose Ann.
Ay, wala akong background. Wait lang, okay na.
Excuse me po, medyo nagka-technical lang po kami dito, no, kasi hindi gumagana yung Zoom ni Ma'am Rose Ann. Palipatin ko lang po siya dito sa computer ko. Okay lang po. Copy po muna kayo. Saglit lang po.
All right, thank you very much, Sir Alejandro, for that technical assistance po. Um, we are 48 na po, ano? Before I will start my discussion po, allow me to share my screen. Okay na, sir. All right, so day 6 na po tayo, no? So my name is Rose Angie Santos. Today is November 25, 2021. So my topic is all about research management, tracking process flow for birth and non-birth, and also the research forms. Medyo kalimutan po na muna natin yung ating manuscript, no? Magfo-focus po tayo sa mga templates na i-attach natin sa ating research. So before that, nakapag-merienda na po ba tayong lahat? Pa-react naman po sa ating chat box kung nakapag-coffee na po tayo, nakapag-break na po tayo bago po tayo discuss ng mga templates na i-attach sa ating research. All right. So, allow me to share the DepEd memo number 49, series of 2021. It says here that this is the research management system as of February 2021 and research timelines for 2021. So ito po yung acceptance natin ng ating mga researches dito sa division office. First, February 24 to March 10. Next is April 21 to April 9. Third is July 1 to July 9. And lastly, October 1 to October 8. So nagkaroon po tayo ng acceptance this year na 4 na beses po. So bakit nga po ba natin kailangan malaman itong division memo na ito, ano po? So dito makikita natin kung bakit, dito natin makikita yung timeline natin, kung kailan yung acceptance at end of acceptance. Alright, so next po is, ito naman po ang ating School Division Research Committee, wherein makikita po natin dito yung mga in charge. Sige. Allow me to read lang po this division memo, ano po? So this is the division memo number 9, series of 2021. So it says here that in view of the assignment of the new assistant division superintendent and to ensure the continuous efficient performance of the division's certain functions, the field is hereby informed of the reorganization composition of the various division committees effective immediately. So ito po ang ating mga Schools Division Research Committee. So our chairperson is Sir Chris Benigno po, the OIC Assistant Division School Superintendent, followed by the co-chairpersons po, Dr. Juliet C. Sanad, Sir Arthur Chongan. The members are Dr. Rinalyn T. Padsoyan for the Planning and Research, Ma'am Lilian S. Pogolongan, Ma'am Loida C. Mangangoy for the CID po, and for the Finance, Ma'am Belen R. Toming. So these are the following functions that they are doing po on our researches. So later po, papasadahan po din natin kung anong ginagawa nila to review our researches po. So next is, I will now go to the difference between proposal and final researches. I just really want to emphasize their differences po, no? So marami po kasi sa atin na hindi nakakaalam kung ano nga po ba ang difference ng attachment ng ating mga researches. So for research proposal, submit one set for review at SDO level with the following documents, with the following templates po. As you can see, meron po tayong 5 templates that we need to attach on our researches. Number 1 is the research tracking form, followed by the cover page for final research, approval page po ang tawag doon. Next is the research proposal application form, followed by the declaration of anti-plagiarism and absence of conflict of interest. And lastly, the research review form A in 3 copies. Bakit po 3 copies? 1 copy for the school research committee or for the immediate supervisor. Next is 1 copy for the division focal person based on agenda and division research technical working committee. And lastly, the school division research committee po. So attach with your research proposal manuscript. So bali meron po siyang 5 templates na naka-attach doon sa research proposals. Tapos yung nasa pinaka-last part is the research proposal manuscript. Ang kaibahan lang po niya sa final research, I should say, is that the research final manuscript has an attachment po, 4 to 8 pictures as a proof of the conduct of the research as annex in the research manuscript. This is for the non-birth research manuscripts po. So, in here, the major differences is the cover page for proposal and approval page for the final. Where the manuscript, research proposal manuscript for research proposal, for the final research final manuscript with 4 to 8 pictures as a proof of the conduct of the study in your research po. If I am too fast, don't hesitate to raise your hands po, or pwede nyo po akong i-cut kung gusto nyo pong magtanong with whatever concerns po about the research. Next. This is for the documentations for birth research. Ito na yung mga researches na funded po ng ating Basic Education Research Fund. So for basic proposal, please submit 2 sets. Yung kanina po, balikan natin, 1 set lang. In here, 2 sets po for birth, which is yung ginagawa po natin ngayon. I assume po na ang ating mga researchers are halfway done na po, or patapos na po, or nagkakraft pa lang. Pero more likely, mas maganda po kung nasa middle na po tayo ng ating pag-craft ng ating mga researches. So for birth, ganun din lang, pareho lang po. Nagkaiba lang din sa dito, sa last part. So, ang attachment niya ay research tracking form, cover page, research proposal application form, declaration of anti-plagiarism and absence of conflict of interest, research review form in 3 copies for this SRC, Technical Working Committee, and the School Division Research Committee. So, for birth po, the major difference is that it has a work financial plan na naka-attach po. 3 sets with signature. And also data collection instruments. Yun po ang kaibahan niya sa ating non-birth research manuscript. Also, for final researches, research final manuscript with 4 to 8 pictures as a proof of the conduct of the study. work financial plan, 3 sets with signature, data collection instruments, and a copy of a signed MOA or Memorandum of Agreement. Nga pala, this may change po according to RO, yung 4 to 8 pictures as a proof of conduct of the study. So, pwede pong magbago po yan. Next is the documentations for final approved soft copy. So, ito po yung ating Google Drive wherein you can drop your final and approve soft copy of our researches po. Kung makikita nyo po, from 2015 to 2025 nagawa na po. So all you have to do is to copy this link po. And then, subukan po natin. Ano po? Let's copy this link. Tapos i-paste po natin sa browser. So, madadirect na po tayo doon sa ating folder wherein dito po natin i-drop yung ating mga researches for that year. So, ginawa po ito ng planning and research section. Ano po? For the tracking of the researches. Dito nyo rin po makikita yung mga researches on the following years po. Say, for example, 2021 researches. So, yeah. Pwede po natin i-copy yung link and then i-paste lang po natin sa ating browser and then madadirect na po niya tayo sa ating folders. Pwede rin natin pong magamit ito in the future for our future references. So next, dumako naman po tayo sa ating research tracking process. So ano nga po ba ang nangyayari sa ating researches pag sinubmit na natin dito sa division level? Paano po siya nagta-travel? So, okay. The research tracking process flow. So start, if the researcher will now submit the research at the division level, maski kung proposal po man yan or final na po, dediretso po yan sa ating record section. Tapos po, kailangan po may stamp si record section ng date kung kailan natanggap dito sa division level. Next, aakyat na po yan dito sa amin sa planning and research section for us to conduct the initial screening to check if all templates are complete. And of course, forward the research to the focal person or kung sino man ang in charge sa research na yon. So basically, ang aming basis for forwarding that research is your research title. So we really have to craft or kailangan nating yung research title alone, may idea na kami kung saan namin i-forward si research paper. Say for example, for the ICT department, yung mga digitalization of yada-yada. For CID naman, say for example, the research is research for teaching and learning. Example is yung mga effectiveness on yung mga ganun po, yung for teaching and learning. Pupunta po yun sa CID. sa Curriculum Implementation Division. Pag sa SGOD naman po, say for example, Human Resource Development, kay Ma'am Jovi. Pag DRRM, kay Sir Jimmy. Pag SGOD po, diretso po yun sa focal person kung sino man in charge na mag-review ng paper. Alright, then after the review po, returns the paper to proponent for revision through SDRC Secretariat. Ako po yun. So this is the first revision na po kung meron pong mga suggestions na gusto po nilang i-incorporate ninyo sa inyong research, then ibabalik po namin sa inyo for you to revise your papers po. So kadalasan ang nangyayari po kasi may first revision, second revision, may third pa nga po kung kailangan. So as long as hindi po natin na-satisfy yung gusto po ng mga nagre-review, si focal person, technical working group, babalik at babalik po yan sa researcher. And after which, pag okay na po lahat, dediretso na po yan sa SDRC. And then, Assistant Division Superintendent for approval. Next, Assistant School Division Superintendent for approval pa rin po. And then lastly, babalik na po sa amin sa Planning and Research, and then that's the end of the research tracking process na po. Meron po ba tayong katanungan kung may mga tanong po ba tayo dito sa ating research tracking process flow po? Alright, kung wala na po, dumako na po tayo sa research forms. I just want to emphasize yung mga templates po na i-attach natin sa ating researches po. So these are the following research forms that we need to attach on our researches. Parang it's a repetition lang po nung kanina, So number 1 is the research tracking form. Ano nga po ba yung research tracking form? So in here, naglagay na po kami ng link so that we were able to go immediately sa form na ito, kung ano naman itong form na tinutukan po. So pag kinlik nyo po yan, it will direct you on that particular form po. So ano nga po ba yung nakalagay dito sa research tracking form? So in here, the planning and research section, kami po ang naglalagay ng tracking number on your researches po para madali po nating matrack yung researches. Then, si researcher, of course, ilalagay niya yung pangalan niya dito. Kung grupo po sila, please make sure na nakalagay po yung complete name ninyo together with the alias, junior, senior, ganun po. Tapos po dito sa agenda, dito po yung parang marami pong nagkakamali dito kasi ang nilalagay nila sa agenda is the research title, which is wrong. Kasi po, ang dapat ilagay dito sa agenda is kung ano po yung agenda ng inyong research. Actually, pwede po nating makita dito sa last part po. Dito po. Sa first page po ng application form, nakalagay po dito, research agenda category. Check only one main research theme, teaching and learning, child protection, human resource development, governance, for DRRM, Gender and Development, or Inclusive Education, and others po. So ito po yung ilalagay natin dun sa may agenda na part. Dito po. So wala na po kaming makikitang research title na nakalagay po dito. Ano po? Dapat po ang nakalagay dyan, teaching and learning, kung teaching and learning ang research, governance, if it's for governance, DRRMM for the disaster risk management po. Yan po. So if the research is forwarded here in the division level, if the researcher submit the final research to the division office, 30 minutes lang po dapat yon. Yung kanyang KPM or Key Performance Metric, number of days required to complete the step is 30 minutes. So person responsible for this is the record section, followed by the Planning and Research Department, who will conduct the initial screening for the research. That is 2 days. School Division Research Committee Secretariat. Dire-diretso na po ito. So, balik lang po ulit tayo dun sa form. Ano po? So, number 3, forward the research paper to focal person, 5 minutes. SDRC Secretariat. Number 4, review the research paper, 2 days, directed to the focal person and division research technical committee. Return the paper to the proponent for the revision of the paper, 5 minutes. Focal person and division research technical working committee through SDRC Secretariat. Step 6, recommending approval of the research paper, 2 hours, ASTS po. Next is the approval paper sa STS naman po. And lastly, we will return the research paper to the research proponent, 10 minutes, SDRC Secretariat / Division Research Coordinator. Nandito po sa last part, yung mga template po no, na kailangan po nating i-attach sa ating research. Yung mga iba po kasi na nagsasubmit dito sa division, minsan kulang-kulang po. So for example, minsan walang application form, minsan kulang yung manuscript, minsan wala rin pong cover, yung walang title page, mga ganun po. So ito po yung gusto po nating kompletuhin ni researcher para po pag forward natin ng research, kompleto at tuloy-tuloy na po yun. Kasi po, pag may isa dito na hindi po naka-attach, more likely, ibabalik po ang paper sa inyo. So, ulitin ko lang po, no? Lagi po nating inuulit. Meron po tayong 5 attachment, 5 templates. The research tracking form, cover page for proposal, approval page for final, research proposal application form. Ang dami, ano? Pero mamaya po i-discuss natin thoroughly kung ano nga ba yung mga forms na to. Declaration of anti-plagiarism and absence of conflict of interest. Research review form A for proposal. Research review form B for final in 3 copies. And the research manuscript. So yon, we should know by heart kung ano yung mga templates na kailangan natin i-attach sa research. So next po. Tapos na po tayo sa tracking form. Ano po? May katanungan po ba tayo sa tracking form? Alright, kung wala po, next na po tayo. So, ito na po yung research cover page. Research cover page for proposal and approval page for the final research. So, click lang po natin yung link. Madadirect po tayo sa cover page. Alright. Sorry. Again, for the tracking number, si Planning and Research po ang naglalagay niyan. This is our basis din po. And the tracking na ginagamit po namin para matrack natin ang mga researches kung kailan sinubmit dito sa division office. Of course, ilalagay po natin ang name of researcher. Please complete your name po. Yung iba po kasi incomplete yung names nila. Yung research title, lalagay po natin dyan, verbatim. Next is the short description of the research. Ilalagay po natin dyan. Next is the date of implementation. School year, say for example, this year, 2021-2022. Yung iba po kasi ang nilalagay lang nila is the year po, no? Diretso na sila. So, wala po yung word na school year. Nilalagay lang nila 2021-2022, which is wrong. Dapat lagay natin yung word mismo na school year. So, ito yung pinakamahalagang form, pinakamahalagang template ng ating researches. So, followed by the School Research Committee Immediate Supervisor, the School Research Coordinator, and then the school head po. Ito po ay sa school level. So, hanggang dyan, school yan. Next is sa division level naman po. Kapag nagpunta na ang papel ninyo dito sa division. So, sinubmit kay Research Secretariat, si Research Secretariat finurward kay focal person or technical working group. And then, it will be reviewed by our School Division Research Committee po. Usually po, generic po kasi ang ating template, kaya po 4 yung nakalagay dyan. Pero minsan pinapatanggal po nila yung 2 dito, which is wrong kasi po minsan po ang ating research, 2 ang nagre-review, minsan 3, minsan po 4. Depende po sa gravity or sa kung anong klase po yung gusto po nating i-research. Next is the co-chairperson functional division chief. So it's either Dr. Juliet Canad or Sir Art. And then eventually, for the recommending approval, Sir Chris Benigno. And lastly, our School Division Superintendent, Sir Federico P. Martin po. So ito na po yung last. Please make sure po na Federico Martin po yung nakalagay dun sa pinaka-last part. Kasi po yung mga iba, hindi ko po sure kung old template po yung gamit nila. Ang nakalagay po is Ma'am Carol pa rin po. Which is wrong. Kailangan ilagay na po natin kung sino yung SDS po natin ngayon. Which is Sir Federico P. Martin. Tapos, don't forget po yung EDD, CED, CESO 5 po. So, yun. Yan po ang ating research cover page for research proposal. So, next po, we will now go to the research proposal application form. This is very crucial din po kasi po itong application form na ito, kailangan po nating ilagay lahat ng information. Research cover page. Lahat ng information doon po sa ating application form. So, nasa na ba siya? Alright. So, this is the research application form. Of course, may tracking number. Example lang po ito, no? So, ilalagay po natin yung title. the short description of the research. Ito masyadong mahaba, sabi kasi short description. Pero as much as possible sa research title alone, we could now know kung ano yung gusto ni researcher, ano. Kung layman ako at I have nothing to do with this research at binasa ko yung research title, I will now have an idea kung ano ba yung patungkol sa research na ito. Sa research title alone, gets ko na kung anong klaseng research yung gustong i-research ni researcher. Next is the research category. Marami po sa atin, hindi po chine-check yung mga box dito, which is very important. Very important po itong part na to, no? So, si researcher, kailangan niya pong i-check kung anong klaseng research po siya. Is it on a national level, region level, school division, for district, or for school? Tapos, dito po sa baba, it's either an action research or a basic research. That was explained to us by the other speakers po, ano? So, more likely, we should know the difference of the action research and the basic research. Next is the research agenda category. Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina. Teaching and learning, child protection, human resource development, governance, or for cross-cutting theme, DRRM, gender and development, inclusive education, and others po. Also, you need to specify kung ito pong research na ginagawa natin ay birth or non-birth. So usually, pag birth po, ilalagay po natin yung amount. Pag personal fund naman or non-birth, or wala siyang fund, so of course, blanco po yan. Next po is page 2 na po tayo sa research application form. So dapat lahat po ng blanco, lalagyan po natin ng information. Kasi lahat po ng information ay ipinapasok po namin sa research database ng division. So, dapat very, very, lahat ng mga blanco kailangan po nating lagyan ng information. Ito, sample lang po ito, Sir Jason Kinopes. Ayan, nakalagay lahat ng information. Birth date, minsan walang birthday, hindi na ilalagay. Sex, position, school. Yan, minsan wala ring school po na nakalagay. Hindi ko po sure kung na-overlook lang po ni researcher or what. So, contact number po, please provide 2 contact numbers kasi minsan pag kinokontak namin si researcher out of coverage or minsan unattended, so tinatry namin yung second na contact number niya. Of course, yung email address din po natin, as much as possible, yung email address po na ilalagay natin dito sa ating application form is our DepEd email. That is our official email po. Next is our educational attainment or degree. So yan, ilagay niyo po lahat dyan kung ano po yung mga tinapos natin for elementary education, master's, PhD. Ayan, ilagay po natin lahat dyan. So page 3 na po tayo ng ating research application form. Ito naman po is yung ating, ito po ay yung endorsement, ano po, ni immediate supervisor. So nakalagay dito, I hereby endorse the attached research study. I certify that the proponent has the capacity to implement a research study without compromising his office functions. So nakalagay po dito, name and signature of the immediate supervisor or the school head po. If you were the school heads, si PSDS po ang magpipirma dito. So, position, designation, kunwari PSDS, district, ilagay din po kung anong district, tapos, well, of course, yung date po. Okay, so tapos na po tayo sa research application form. Tumako naman po tayo sa ating Declaration of Anti-Plagiarism and Absence of Conflict of Interest form. So this is just a declaration, no, na hindi po natin kinopya from other researchers. Ang mga ideas or yung mga inilagay po natin sa ating research. Diba na discuss po sa atin last time, yung ethics and yung plagiarism po, ano po. So, allow me to read lang po. Tapos lalagay po natin yung pangalan. Undersign that plagiarism is the act of taking and using another's ideas and works and passing them off as your own. This includes explicitly copying the whole work of another person and or using some part of their work without proper acknowledgement and referencing. Ito po yung lagi nilang inuulit-ulit nila Ma'am Jane na anti-plagiarism na ginagawa po ng mga ibang researcher, which is a very no-no po pag nagkakandak po tayo ng research. Next, number 2, I hereby attest to the originality of the research proposal and has cited properly all the reference used. I further commit that all deliverables and the final research study emanating from this proposal shall be of original content. So, dapat may originality. I shall use appropriate citations in referencing other works from various sources. And lastly, I undersign that violation from this declaration and commitment shall be subject to consequences and shall be dealt with accordingly by the Department of Education and insert grant mechanism. All right, so in here po, yung proponent po ang dapat mag-sign. Proponent's name, signature, and date. Yan, kailangan mo po nating ilagay yan dito po sa ating Declaration of Anti-Plagiarism form. Next is alright, katuloy lang po ito ng form natin dito sa taas, no? So, madako na po tayo sa last form na i-attach po natin sa ating research, yung research review form. Form A for proposal and Form B for the final research. I just want to emphasize, no, na we should attach this in 3 copies po. 3 copies. Minsan kasi isa lang po nakalagay, minsan dalawa, ganun. So, yun po yung iniiwasan natin. Dapat po kompleto yung mga naka-attach na templates. From the tracking, cover page, application forms, declaration, and review forms po. So, madako na po tayo sa ating research review form A. So, ano nga po ba ang research review form? Ito po yung tool na ginagamit ng ating mga reviewer to review our researches po. So, tracking form, si planning ang naglalagay niyan. Lalagay niyo po ang inyong pangalan or the research proponent here, your school, and then the research title, So the research form is actually for the school research committee, for the focal person and division research technical working committee, and for the school division research committee. Silang tatlo po. Kaya po tatlo po yung ating research form. So ito po yung tool na ginagamit nila. Ano po? Ito po yung guide din nila to check your paper. You will see here, may mga criteria po na kailangan i-satisfy to get these points. Say for example, if you incorporate rationality of the research proposal presents a general description of the topic or focus of inquiry, 5 points agad po yun. The educational relevance and timeliness of the research topics are shown. It explains the needs to research to understand a phenomenon, advance or validate a knowledge, improve a situation or address an issue or a problem, 8 points. Next is the nature, the extent, and salience of the research topic is comprehensive, or it is comprehensively discussed. Different aspects of the research settings are elaborated, showing in-depth and critical analysis of the situation, policy implications, benefits, and limitations of the study are stated. So kung mapapansin nyo, meron po tayong reviewer 1, reviewer 2, reviewer 3. So this is the tool that they are using in reviewing our researches po. So, yung mga iba po dito, basahin na lang po natin, research questions, 20 points. Ayan po, nakalagay po yung mga points dito. The research questions logically proceed from the context of the study. They are formulated to clearly show the extent and different angles of inquiry. Example, different variables of interest, relationships to be probed, geographical and temporal scope, 20 points. Use of related literature and proper citation. Right. The research proposal cites theories and previous studies related to the present research. Sources are properly acknowledged. Viewpoints and issues underlying the present research are discussed and synthesized. They are critically evaluated to identify inconsistencies or gaps in current knowledge of educational policy that study intends to address. Citation 10 points. Constructs are defined and presented in a conceptual framework. Ito na po yung patawid na paulit-ulit na i-discuss po ni Ma'am Aline, Ma'am Jane. The citation of literature sources is consistent, 10 points. Tapos po yung ating research methods na ginamit. So participants and other sources of data information, 10 points. The research proposal states the study target participants and other sources of data and information, example, divisions, district, offices, schools, learners, teachers, parents, documents, secondary data, and others, 5 points. Details are provided about the target participants, examples, number, characteristics, sampling, procedure, if any, and any other sources of data information. A clear rationale for their inclusion in the study is given. And that is 10 points po. So, for the research methods, 40 points po agad yan. So next po for our criteria, plan for data analysis, 10 points. Sige, pasadahan lang po natin itong mga to, no? Checklist interview guide to be developed or adopted, 15 points. By whom and their appropriateness for obtaining the desired kind of data or information, 20 points. The research proposal presents a general description on how they gather the data or information that will be analyzed, 5 points. Details of the methods of data analysis are given. Techniques, example, qualitative, statistical, quantitative, or both methods. Ito yung quanti, and mixed method na in-explain din po, as well as the tools that we can use in our researches po. That is 8 points. The selected methods of data analysis are shown to be appropriate to the nature of the data information to be gathered and for the addressing the research questions. Ang dami, 10 points. Work plan and timeliness, 10 points. For cost estimates, 10 points. So, a detailed work plan is provided covering the start of completion of the research, timeline, are realistic and show concretely how the research will uphold over the allowed period. The overall plan reflects the proponent's capacity to concretize ideas to clear and sequential steps to be undertaken. So, ang dami po, So, sa pinakalas ng research review, it says here that if your score is 0 to 20, it is not accepted. From 21 to 40, it needs major revision. From 41 to 60, it needs minor revision. For 61 to 80, accepted but with improvement. And lastly, 81 to 100, accepted. So, yun po. So, dito po may mga reviewer. Pipirmahan po nila yan. Kapag po na-review na nila ang inyong papers. Together with the tool po sa taas. All right. So that will be the end of the research forms po. So bali na-cover ko na po yung 5 research forms that we need to attach on our researches po. Either birth or non-birth researches. So do we have any questions from the groups po or any clarifications dun po sa mga templates na i-attach natin sa ating research? Okay, kung wala po tayong mga katanungan, wala po tayong questions sa mga templates na i-attach sa ating researches.
Casey, Ma'am
Hello
Rose.
po. Yes po, Ma'am Jocelyn.
Yes, ma'am. Pa-clarify lang po. So, if the scope of our research is division-wide, and the research proponents will be coming from different schools ng Baguio. Sino pong pwedeng mag-review nung dun sa school review committee part?
Okay po, ang tinatanong po ninyo kung sino po ang pwedeng mag-review ng paper sa division po.
Yes,
Ganun po
ma'am.
ba,
Ma'am,
ma'am?
yung ano, pero ma'am, unang tanong na lang. Possible po ba na 3 different teachers will be coming from 3 different schools within the division ang mag-conduct ng research?
Possible po, ma'am.
Okay. And then ma'am, dun sa may school research committee na ngayon, ma'am, dun sa form na yon, since we came from different schools, sino po ang magiging reviewer naming tatlo if we came from different schools?
On the school level po ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Meron po kasi tayong mga technical working committee na na-specify po, no? So, in what particular school po ba kayo, ma'am?
Let's say, ma'am, irisan po yung isa, then yung isa will be coming from Pines, then the other one will be coming from Magsaysay. Parang ganun nga, ma'am?
Different school po, ano?
Yes po.
Hello po ma'am. Can I
Thank you, Sir Ali.
Thank you,
kasi
sir.
kapag ano po
Thank
ma'am,
you, Sir Ali.
Apo, yung ano na natin diyan ma'am is yung ano na natin, kumbaga kung sino na yung may hawak. Halimbawa, kapag tatlong schools kayo ma'am, no, we assume na halimbawa isang district kayo. Ganun na po siya ma'am. So district na yung magsa-sign doon ma'am kapag isang district kayo para magiging district level na yung ano po niya ma'am. And then kung talagang sparse talaga na hiwa-hiwalay talaga kayo ma'am. Ayun ma'am, i-consult na natin ma'am kung sa division na. Ano na po siya ma'am. Yes natin si Ma'am Malin kung sino na.
Okay.
Pero kung district pa naman, si PSDS na po natin ma'am.
When, sir?
Opo. Kung division level naman ma'am, I think magfo-fall na siya sa ano hindi na siya school research coordinator ang mangyayari. Isa na sa mga SDRC siguro natin, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Sige po, pa-update na lang po, sir.
Sige ma'am, i-raise ko din po yan ma'am sa ano natin para magkaroon ng clarification kasi although seldom lang pero may mga ganito palang gumagawa no na
Yes, sir.
tandem sila from different schools.
Yes po.
Apo ma'am. Sige po, i-raise namin para mas clear tayo kung sino po.
Sige po. Thank you, sir.
Okay po ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you po, Ma'am Jocelyn. So may ganun po pala, no? Research na ginawa ng teachers from different schools. Ang saya-saya naman nun. So yun po, nasagot po ba ang inyong katanungan, Ma'am Jocelyn? Don't worry, we will raise that question po on our research committee po dito sa division level, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning! Good morning!
Ma'am, yung let's say, magsasubmit
Yes po, Ma'am Sanchez.
Kung sakaling may isasubmit ako sa December 6, proposal lang naman, ma'am, muna, wala pa itong mga attachments na yung mga nabanggit nyo.
Ma'am, meron na po. Matik na po yun, ma'am. Yung proposal, lahat po ng proposals natin kasama na po siya. Lahat po ng attachment for research proposal kasama na po siya sa atin pong isasubmit this December 6. Sorry Ma'am Rose Ann, inano ko na.
Okay lang, sir. Go.
Tapos ito pa, sir. So meaning, yung isasubmit na sa December 6, kailangan na ipa-check na rin dito sa school yung kung sino man ang na-assign na technical working group sa school namin, kumbaga. So, ahead of time
si research coordinator niyo po sa school po, ma'am. So, basta na-signan niya po, ma'am, okay na po.
Sige, sir. Thank you, sir.
Apo, ma'am.
Meron pa po ba tayong ibang tanong? Ay, Sir Ali, narinig ba ako?
Yes po, ma'am. Apo.
Sorry, meron pa po bang ibang researchers na gustong magtanong? It's your time to shine po. You can raise your question po and we might.
Kanina parang nakikipag-usap ka.
Opo, nag-uusap po.
Oh, sige,
Nakipag-usap po.
okay lang, sir.
Opo, naka-zoom po kasi kami. Hello po. May mga katanungan pa po ba tayo?
Sir, yung attendance.
Attendance, ay opo, sige po, i-share ko po. Nakalimutan ko palang i-share kanina.
Sir, yung sa attendance pala, sir, hindi ako nakapag-join ng day 2,
Opo.
pero pinapanood ko yung video. Pwede bang mag-attendance doon o hindi na?
Yung mga nasa Zoom lang naman yun, sir, so okay lang na isinama na namin, okay lang naman yun, sir, kasi ang mangyayari lang is yung number of hours nyo dun sa sa certificate, which is sige, sir. Hindi, sir, eh. Yung mga nasa Zoom lang talaga.
Okay po, sir. Sige po.
Naisip ako.
Doon sa sa immediate supervisor, kasi meron kaming head teacher, then meron kaming school head.
Opo.
Sino ho yung doon, sir? Yung immediate supervisor doon, ma'am?
Ano po, meron kayong school head and then
Immediate supervisor
Y-
and then school head.
yes, ma'am. Hindi, meron kaming...
Dalawa po.
Yes, ma'am. Department head. Then
Ay,
meron
department
kaming school head.
Pag sa school level po, automatic po tayo sa school head po.
School head.
Okay po.
Apo.
Ay, pag division po sa
Pag division level naman po yung research natin, pa rin po kailangan pa rin po na-check ni SDRC unless na-group kayo na iba-iba yung, kailangan pa rin po na-check ni school research coordinator, o kaya napirmahan ni school head, unless na iba-iba yung mga teachers, like yung group na iba-iba yung pinanggalingan ng teachers.
Okay po, ma'am, sir. Thank you.
Okay po.
Thank you, Sir Banooy. So, if there are no other researchers na gusto pong magtanong, itutuloy ko na po yung discussion natin. So, papasadahan ko lang po itong research management terms of reference. Ay, hello?
Naririnig ka, ma'am. Go ahead.
Alright. So, research management terms of reference or TOR. So for school level, School Research Coordinator, SRC. Ito po yung lagi natin naririnig, no? Ang dami pong SRC, SDRC, TWG, TWC. So ano nga po ba talaga ang ibig sabihin ng SRC at ano po ang ginagawa nila? So first, in the school level po, School Research Coordinator, they receive the research proposal, either proposal po man yan or final paper from the proponent or the teacher. Next, i-review po nila yan using the research review form A for proposal and form B for the final. And they will endorse your research, focus on the mechanics and style, rationale, the research, citations, and referencing, recommendation, and advocacy plans paper to the school head. So yun po ang ginagawa ni School Research Coordinator. So next po is in the division level naman po, Division level, immediate supervisor. Receive the research paper, final or proposal, review the research proposal, final paper using the research forms, endorse. So ganun ginagawa nila, receive, review, endorse, focusing on the mechanics, style, o pareho lang nung kanina. Next po is the School Division Research Committee, SDRC Secretariat. So ito naman po, dito po ito sa division. So they organize, coordinate, and document meetings for the committee. Sila po ang nagkakandak ng initial screening. Ako po yun, actually, chine-check ko po yung paper kung kompleto po ang templates na naka-attach. Submit proposal for the compliance with submission guidelines. aid SDRC member in recommending proposals for approval as per the criteria and scoring template provided in the review form. Yung nabanggit ko nga po kanina, the review form na may mga scores and criteria. Liaison ba ito? Liaison with academic and research institutions, government agencies, and other DepEd offices in the conduct of their studies. Provide TA din po. Conduct periodic monitoring on research activities in school and community learning centers within the SDO. Prepare periodic report on accomplishments related to the division research activity. And lastly, prepare complete staff work in support of the committees function as needed. Pakisabi na lang po kung medyo mabilis po ano. So pasadahan lang po natin ulit. Actually, this was being discussed by Ma'am Malin po. Next is focal person based on agenda and Baguio City Division Research Technical Working Committee or TWC. They facilitate the panel review sessions from the proposal to the final paper according to the research agenda, of course. Review the research proposal or final paper using the research review form A or B with focus on the alignment of the research questions, related literature, and research methods, results, and discussions. So yun po yung mga terms, ano po, kung meron po tayong katanungan with regards po sa SDRC, SRC, TWC, TWG, pwede nyo pong erase yung question or pwede po ninyong i-type sa chat box po kung meron po tayong mga clarifications on that matter po. Ano po? Minsan kasi parang nakakalito like yung question ni Sir Banooy kanina, yung immediate head, immediate supervisor, school heads, so in what particular kanino isasubmit and ipapa-review yung paper bago dalhin dito sa division. So if kung wala na po tayong questions on that, we will now proceed to the, gusto ko lang pong i-inject ito since may mga teachers po tayo na nag-aaral sa ibang university, they are considered outside researchers po. So ano po ang flow ng ating research management for outside research, I should say. So ito po yung mga teachers na sasubmit ng request letter dito po sa division. Request letter to conduct a study po. So ito po yung process natin. Outside researchers workflow. So start, the record section will receive the letter permit to conduct study endorsed by the dean of the school or the graduate school coordinator with sampling scheme, research tool, and other required documents as necessary. So please make sure po no, na dun sa request letter po natin nakalagay po yung respondents, meron po tayong samplings, questionnaires, contact numbers para po matawagan po namin kayo kung meron pong concerns doon sa inyong permit to conduct a study. Ito po ay mga request letter po na dinadala dito sa DO. Hindi po ito kasali sa templates na mga pinag-uusapan natin kanina. So iba po ito. This is for the outside researchers po. So next, the planning and research team will now receive the request letter. So if it's complete, with sampling siya, research tool, questionnaire, number of respondents, nandun lahat. If it's complete, then we will now proceed to the process. If it's not, we will return the permit to the researcher po. So if yes, countersign the letter and forward to the school's division superintendent for approval. May be done by other planning and research personnel. So, papa-approve na po natin yan sa ating SDS. Approve request to conduct study. After the approval, we will release the approved permit letter to outside researcher. Pwede pong tawagan po namin siya kung na-approvean na po ni SDS yung letter po niya na indicating, letter permit to conduct study. So, si researcher po will now sign the commitment form or acknowledgement form to furnish the SDO with a final copy of the approved final research. So that will be the end of the workflow process for outside researchers. Yung mga nagbibigay po ng intent letter, permit to conduct study ng mga teachers po, ano po. So actually, patapos na po ako sa aking slides. Lifted po ito from Ma'am Maling's slides. Let us sustain the culture of research in the division. So we are hoping to na matanggap po ang mga researchers nyo on December 6, 2021. Ready na po ba tayong isubmit ang ating mga paper dito sa division? So if wala na pong katanungan, that will be the end of my discussion po.
Ayan. Naririnig po ako?
Yes, Sir Ali.
Okay. All right. So nandito na po si Ma'am Raynalyn, no? So we can raise yung question natin kanina about yung group researchers coming from different schools and magkakandak sila ng division-wide research. Ngayon ang tanong is who will be the immediate immediate head or yung magsasign po dun sa research. Ma'am Malin, are you here na po?
Hello po. Good morning.
Yes po, ma'am.
Yeah. Ang tanong ulit ay, sino ang mga researchers? Is principal, teachers?
Ma'am Jocelyn, pick up po ulit kita, ma'am. Go ahead po with your question again. Thank you.
Hello, Ma'am Malin. Good morning po.
Hi, good morning. Good morning po. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, teachers po kami, different schools na magkakandak ng division-wide na research.
Okay.
And came from different districts. So, sino po kayang pwedeng mag-sign?
Oo. Usually, pag birth kasi, nag-a-ask sila ng head, yung parang chairman ng three, ng group research. So, kung sino na yung group research chairman, siya na. Unless another option is, wala kasi tayong policy regarding dyan. Ang premise natin talaga, di ba, magsasign si school head, magsasign basta si immediate supervisor ninyo. But since ang case ninyo, iba-ibang school.
Yes,
Iba-ibang school, tapos iba-iba pa kayong, iba-ibang school, iba-ibang district. So, ang tawag nito, dalawa option natin. So, either si chairman ang bahala ng magpa-sign. Iniisip ko lang habang nag-uusap kami ni Drew, paano kung hindi alam ng principal ng isang teacher na galing sa ibang school na may research na nakakandak. Kaya, paano yung assurance ninyo na number one, malalaman ng school head, at number two, i-recognize yung research na yon kapag hindi napasignan sa school head nung dalawa pang ibang school.
Ma'am Malin?
Kaya, yes po.
Ma'am, di ba yung application form ba yun? Nandun si researcher tapos yung immediate supervisor. So individual kami na magpo-produce nun, di ba ma'am?
Yeah, that would be a better idea. That would be a better idea. Though masyadong bulky yung paper nyo. Pero kung ganun ang mangyayari, kanya-kanya kayo ng application form, kanya-kanya kayo ng ng immediate supervisor. Parang ang treatment niyan, kanya-kanya. Oo.
Okay. Oo nga.
Yes.
Kaya lang ma'am,
Kasi
pag
pwede naman
kanya-kanya,
easier, efficient 'yun, yung head lang, yung chairman lang ng group. Kaya kung the same school, kung the same district pwede pa 'yon. Pero iba-iba kasi kayo pa ng district, baka kasi hindi na kayo mahirap kasi yung syempre ma-bypass natin yung mga school heads.
Yes, ma'am.
Opo.
Okay.
Yeah. So kanya-kanya na lang kayo diyan po, yan. Pati yung ayan, kanya-kanya kayo dyan.
kaya lang
Okay,
yung
ma'am.
yung cover page. Ma'am Rose Ann, can you show po yung cover page? Kung dito ma'am, kung kanya-kanya sila ma'am, edi may kanya-kanya din silang cover page.
Oo nga yan, isa pa yan. Ma'am Jo, ang gulo!
Kaya nga ma'am Kaya lumabas
Sige.
kanina tuloy yung may target na akong research kami. Tapos nung ito na lumabas na yung mga forms, doon na ako nalito.
Lahat sila magsasign. Mag-add kayo ma'am ng kasi minimum itong template natin, generic template. So you just add yung mga signatories niyo ma'am sa baba.
Okay,
Kung
ma'am.
mag-pages kayo ng cover page po.
Sige, ma'am.
Kasi
Thank you,
level
ma'am.
lang naman ng school ma'am Ang pagdating ng SDRC as is naman yan hanggang kila SDS.
Okay.
So
Sige
yung
po, ma'am.
school research coordinator po nila ma'am, kasi iba-iba rin silang school.
Oo, ganun din.
Tatlo na lang din. Sige. Tapos
Okay.
3 immediate head. Sige.
Oo.
Luluwang yung paper niyo ma'am, magiging 2 pages.
Yeah. At least clear na ma'am.
Opo, okay po. May tanong ata sa chat box
Thank
po.
you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ma'am Jo. Okay.
Okay, thank you po for coming up with an organized and systematic flow of research from proposal through its approval from schools to SDO. Sana wala pong ma-misplace na researches. Nagkapi lang naman po yung research nyo somewhere. Hindi naman po na-miss. Joke lang. Nag-travel lang. Joke lang po. Anyway.
Si yun, word yun ni Claire, nag-travel.
Nag-travel daw yung paper. Ma'am Claire. Pero anyways, thank you Ma'am Marciana for your appreciation din. No? So we appreciate your appreciating us. We appreciate you appreciating us. Okay. Meron pa po tayong mga katanungan. So Ma'am Malin is here, Ma'am Rose Ann is here, I'm here po. By the way, Ma'am Rose Ann and myself po, we are the parang pinaka-secretariat po. Pero si Ma'am Rose Ann talaga ang nagpo-focus kasi right now medyo kami sa LIS. So na pa po ang magtatanong? Tanungin niyo na po. Wala na po tayong breakout ha, dire-diretso na po ito. Kaya dito na po natin tanungin. Kung mayroon kayong mga problema sa inyong formatting, ganyan, sa inyong sa processes po, you just ask na po. Ngayon na po. Sa mga kasamahan po natin na nandito, 46 tayo, no? Kayang-kaya to. Ako, parang okay na sila. Maliwanag na maliwanag ang pagka-explain ni Ma'am Mayan at saka ni Ma'am Rose Ann. Tama po ba ako? Yan. So I think wala nang katanungan. No? Maaga tayo matatapos ngayon.
Sir?
Yes po. Go ahead, ma'am.
Sir, sana yung na-request kanina din lang ni Ma'am na Pedro, yung sana i-forward din po sa amin yung na-fix na format ni Ma'am kanina.
Ni Ma'am Mayan po. Opo.
Yes po, sir.
Sinabi ko po sa kanya and then ang gagawin daw niya, ayusin daw niya and ida-drop niya dun sa folder natin. Yung shared folder po natin ay nakapost po yun sa ating Facebook page, Facebook group po. Hopefully member po kayo agad ng member na po kayo ng Facebook group natin, ma'am, para ma-access po natin.
Thank you, sir.
Apo. So mag-member na po tayo ng Facebook group natin para nandun po lahat ng mga na-share po natin na documents and at the same time yung mga templates po. sa mga participants po. More questions? Yan, ready si Ma'am Rose Ann na sumagot ng inyong mga katanungan. Ayan. So okay na po yung ano natin, no? So may by the way, ganito po ulit, no? Sa December 6, ang tatanggapin po namin ay kumpleto na. So ang kumpleto na po na meron na tayo yung cover page. Nandun na po yung ating tracking form. Nandun na yung mga Ma'am Rose, saan na yung listahan natin? Ayan. Okay, iano ko lang, no, pasadahan ko lang. Sa pagtanggap po namin, kailangan meron na po tayong research tracking form. So, diyan po natin makikita kung ano yung kung nasaan na yung papel ninyo. May mga mapipirmahan po si in charge doon, no, kung natapos na niya. And then yung cover page kung meron na po kayo, for proposal naman ito, so kailangan natin ng cover page. And then yung research proposal application form. Meron po yan, so dapat naka-attach na rin po yan. And then yung declaration of anti-plagiarism and absence of conflict of interest. So dapat nakasama na rin po yan sa ating attachment. And then yung research review form po, naka-print po yan sa sa 8.5 by 13 na paper size, and then 3 copies po siya. 3 copies po, no? Bukod pa po yung 3 copies po na yun, ang magre-review po niyan ay sa SDRC po yun. So, kung nag-review po si school research coordinator, i-attach nyo lang po doon, additional po siya. So, may extra 3 copies, tapos kung nag-assess po si coordinator, plus 1 po yun. Para may 3 naiwan just in case na 3 po yung magre-review dito po sa division. Okay po. So, yun po yung research review form A. Plus, yung manuscript nyo na po. So, yung manuscript ninyo ay kasama na po doon. At yung manuscript naman ay nagpa-follow naman siya sa format na ibinigay sa atin ni Ma'am May early this morning. So, kompleto po yun, no? Dapat may research tracking form, isa, cover page, pangalawa, research proposal application form, pangatlo, declaration of anti-plagiarism and conflict of interest, pang-apat, and then research review form na tatlong sets. So that's going to be pang-lima plus yung manuscript ninyo. So 6. 6 po yung makikita natin lahat-lahat doon po sa isa-submit nyo this December 6. So, this December 6 po, when you submit, dapat napirmahan na po yun ni School Research Coordinator at ni immediate school head, immediate head po. So, yung post ako, Ma'am Rose Ann, yung approve, yung cover page, please. Thank you. Yan. Asan na ang cover page natin? Okay, sa taas. Okay, dito po at least yung nandun sa may taas na banda, yung first part na kompleto niya na po siya. So School Research Coordinator and si School Head or Immediate Supervisor. So kompleto na po yan by the time na mag-submit po tayo dito. Okay, so and yung iba kung gusto niya po na napa-approve niyo na rin sa TWC, okay lang din po na meron na diyan kung very early kayo na kayang-kaya niyo na makahanap ng TWC earlier and then bahala na po kami sa SDRC. Pagdating po dito niyan, magkakaroon na po yan. And ang importante po is na approve na po ni school head ninyo yung research ninyo at yun na po yung mga tatanggapin namin. Kung may mga kulang man po, at least napareceive nyo na po. Kung sakali man po na kulang yung attachment ninyo by that time, i-ano nyo na po, i-submit nyo lang po sa amin and then we will add more. We will ask you na lang. At least ang importante, ma-receive siya during that date. Okay? Okay. Sa mga TWC naman, gaya nga po na nasabi natin kanina, meron po tayong listahan ng TWC. Since hindi pa naman po napapalitan, Ma'am Malin, okay lang po ba i-present namin yung TWC members pa din? Kailangan pa po ba? Or no need na po?
Sorry din, ano yun?
Yung TWC ma'am nung 2019, effective pa rin po ba sila until today?
Yeah, sila pa din. Hindi pa tayo nag-reorganize as is pa din.
And by the way, ma'am, sila po ba ang lalapit sa TWC, ma'am? According dun sa list?
Ano yun na?
Yung, kasi meron po dito sa tracking form, sa cover page natin. Ma'am Rose, pakita nga po yung cover page. May TWC portion kasi ngayon, ma'am. Sila na po ba yung hahanap, ma'am? before we
Hindi.
submit?
Ang process natin ngayon, di ba, basta receive muna natin sa planning, ay sa division office, sa planning tayo. Tapos, pag nabasa ng focal person sa division office, ayan, kasi slash yan eh, either focal person or technical working.
Ay, okay. Opo. So, bahala na po tayo pag natanggap na po natin. Okay.
Sige.
Okay po, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you po. Ma'am Rose Ann,
Sige.
mag-share ako ng screen, ha? So, alright, so ito po yung ating memo na pinagbabasihan pa rin po. That is Division Memo 389 Series 2019. Paki-take note po ito para makita nyo po kung sino yung mga TWC na meron tayo up to now. Andiyan na rin po yung cellphone numbers nila. Ito po, yung Baguio City Research Technical Working Committee. Yan. Ito na po, may listahan po tayo dito. Paki-take note lang po, Division Memorandum 389 Series 2019. 389 Series 2019. Andito po yung listahan ng ating mga TWC po. Yan. So, nandyan din po yung school nila, although hindi na updated kasi 2019 pa ito, no? Madali natin silang mahanap. And I hope na hindi pa nagpalit ng mga numbers ang TWC natin. Ayan. Alright, so yan po ang ating research technical working committee. So they are very naman po, at saka nakita nyo during the course, lagi silang nandyan, no? Very supportive po ang ating mga TWC, and we salute them. Na tuwan-tuwa nga po ako one time pag nagtatanong lang ako, kailangan po natin ng ganito. Bigla na sila mag-volunteer, sabi, sige ako na Sir Ferry. Ganyan. Ganyan po ka-supportive ang ating mga TWC po. So, kung may kailangan po tayo na tanungin at kung kailangan po natin ng technical assistance, pwede naman po natin silang itap. Pero syempre may mga cases po na sobrang busy po talaga na hindi na po nila maisingit sa schedule nila. Pagpasensyahan na po natin. Pili na lang po tayo ng iba. Ayan. Although marami naman po yan, no? Maraming mga members dito. So, 39 nabawasan ng Sir Leo. So mga 37 na lang po ngayon. Ganun po. Alright, so may mga katanungan pa po ba before we finish with this morning? And this afternoon po wala na po tayong breakout session. So ang mangyari na po ay na po tayo, fully workshop na po talaga. Opo. And then kung may mga katanungan po tayo, now is the time to ask na po. Okay. Sa mga kasamahan po, may mga katanungan pa po tayo? Are we all clear? Yan, nakikita ko yung mga dati kong teachers. Si Ma'am Carla, nandito. Nandito pa ba si Ma'am Jomali? Yan. Wala na po ba tayong mga katanungan? Are you sure po na okay na po tayo? Makakapag-submit na po ba tayo this December 6? Sino po ang mga nakapackage na ang papel? Pa-raise naman po ng... May nakapackage na ng papel?
Dito.
Si Ma'am Pagaduan, okay na po?
Dito.
Ayan. Ay, wala pa nakapackage ng papel? Pares naman po ng hand kung okay na po yung inyong mga papel. Okay, sino makakapagsabi na 80% done na sila sa kanilang proposal? Pares po ng hand o pa-thumbs up. 80%. Yon, may isa. Okay, may isang nag-thumbs up. Si Ma'am Cherry Lynn. Okay. Sino makakapagsabi na 90% na sila sa paper nila? Wala? Okay, 50% sa paper nila. Sa proposal lang po. Nako. Temperature check. Baka kailangan nila ng more motivation, no? Sino po makakapagsabi na 40% or 30%? Sige, 30%. Naku, wala na. Naka 100 na yata yung iba, hindi lang nila sinasabi. Anyway, so yun po So kung wala na po tayo mga katanungan, Ayun, may nag 20%, si Sir Banooy. Sir, kayang-kaya mo yan, mahaba-haba pa. May last meeting tayo sa Saturday. That's the 7th day, and after po nun, puro workshop na po ang mangyayari. Day 8, day 9, day 10, and then sa day 10, we'll accept po. Only on December 6. Yes po, ma'am.
True, yung special na session natin dun sa citation, I don't know, I mean dun sa request natin, yung pinag-usapan kahapon on validity and reliability, pwede po tayo by, kailan ba yun? Kailan po kayo pwede? Yung ano,
Yun,
pwede
may
siguro
special
yung
request
ano na,
pala.
no? Oo, after na siguro ng submission. Okay lang po ba sa inyo? Kasi anyway, hindi pa naman kayo magre-reliability at validity kasi proposal pa lang naman. So,
Ano pa yun,
pwede
ma'am?
na
Sa final na yun naman.
Oo, hindi, data gathering din.
Data gathering.
Oo, so okay lang po sa inyo, i-separate nating session yon after na ng submission.
Oh, yes daw po, ma'am.
Okay, sige.
After
Alright,
ng
alright.
submission.
Alright, thank you so much.
Okay, so makakaroon po tayo ng another session for yung special request po natin ng reliability, ganyan, validity. And for in-text citation, it will be discussed naman po ni Ma'am Arian this coming Saturday sa kanyang 7th edition po ng APA discussion. Ayun, so kung wala na po tayong mga katanungan, ipopost ko po ang ating evaluation. Sana po ay makapag-evaluate tayo lahat. Wait lang po, kunin ko lang po. Ngayon ay day 6. Wait lang po. Before po tayo mag-end, no, I hope na sama po kayo sa evaluation para meron po tayo sa M&E natin, sa monitoring and evaluation po natin. Part po siya ng ating program. Okay, so evaluation link. Ayan po, na-post ko po yung evaluation link sa ating Google Chat, sa ating Zoom chat. Kung nakuha nyo na po yung link at nakapag-evaluate na po tayo, we may now leave na po the group. And thank you very much po. Nagpapasalamat po kami sa lahat ng mga participants who are actively joining us, and also for the TWC who are ever supportive for every cause po sa research. Maraming salamat po. And this morning's meeting is already adjourned. You may now access the evaluation link, and you may leave the room if you are already okay po. Maraming salamat po sa lahat. And thank you very much, Ma'am Rose Ann. Thank you very much, Ma'am May Ann, for all your inputs po this morning. Thank you very much po sa ating participants. And Ma'am Malin, thank you po. Special thank you.